This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace, an all-in-one platform that helps you manage a professional-looking website. And what's crazy is when I started this whole thing, the Locker Room Network, that was the website, it was actually Squarespace that I used. And so if me, former footy player, could start a website with Squarespace 10 years ago, imagine, you definitely can do it if I can do it, but also 10 years of improvement, which was what they've done, how much easier it would be today. So if you are a small business and you want to have a professional looking website, and also with the internet today, like the amount of people that if they might see your business on a website or they'll see it on a sticker somewhere, the amount of people that Google your name of your business, if they land on a professional website, they're going to be like, oh, okay, this is a professional. At least that's the way I do it. Whenever I Google something and I go into the website and I'm like, oh, this looks legit, looks professional as anything, much more likely to engage with that business. You can take care of invoicing with your scheduling. It's unbelievable what Squarespace can do at the moment. They've also got AI services that help you lay it all out for you, different templates. It's the best in the biz. So, massive thank you to Squarespace. Head to squarespace.com/bloke for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code BLOKE to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. And a massive thank you to Squarespace. Full circle moment. As I said, when I started all this, I used Squarespace and it really did help propel the podcast into what you see it today. So thank you, Squarespace. We appreciate it.
Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar, proudly brought to you by Grumpy Coffee. We have a Black Friday sale coming up, so stay tuned for that. It's a huge sale. I think it might even be our biggest ever Grumpy Coffee sale, so set your alarms, set your dates. And the Grumpy sale is the 24th to the 2nd. So for an entire week, we've got a sale, guys. Make sure to stay tuned for that. But another week done and dusted. First of all, it seems crowded here now that we've got all the seats filled. But the Leaguie, he's returned some kind of fake lawyer test or something like that last week, mate. How'd you go?
No, it was good. It was good. The test went very well. And God, I've had the absolute weekend from heaven to reward myself for it. Seeing Oasis on Friday night. Camped out outside the ground at 9 a.m. to try and get on the front barrier.
So you
brilliant.
Did you just say you got there at 9 a.m?
9 a.m. Yep, left the Shire at about 7:30, got the bus in. And Oasis didn't get on till 8:45, but me and my two brothers.
So you essentially did a 12-hour bender waiting for Oasis.
Well, just in case my mum's listening, it wasn't a bender. But yeah, essentially.
So you would have had to, because the doors wouldn't have opened until...
It was like 6. So we were just literally sitting outside the gate.
How did you know which gate to stand out? Like, so you would have to run to the front as soon as the gates opened, I'm assuming? Because other gates would have opened at the same time.
Yeah, once the gates open, we were just...
So you got a bit of toll about you.
Oh, absolutely.
So you won the race to the front thing.
We did.
Oh my God.
Sprinted through. And yeah, it was unreal.
Did you show them your chest? Oasis, look at me. You didn't do that?
No comment.
Yeah. That's okay. Hang on a sec. So like Oasis is old people music. You're a relatively young person.
Bro, my favorite band's the Beatles. I'm like old stuff.
So, what used to be cool is cool again. Is that what the kids are telling me?
I am by no means cool. Okay. So do not use me as a barometer.
I look, and you could have fooled me. What got you into Oasis?
My dad showed them one album and I just absolutely fell in love. Wow. Yeah. A brilliant band. I just love the sort of, deep music that they do.
Okay.
So, adore them.
I have that same feeling for, I hope I can show this album to my sons and they love it. It's Craig David Born to do it. One of the greats. Have you got Craig David Born to do it? Walking Away? 7 days, one of these. Rewind.
Walking Away.
Yeah.
Classic. One.
The great Timmy has returned. Now, first of all, surprised you made it back because it looked like a very fun trip. Walk us through the trip, mate.
Yeah, it was good, mate. Got to plenty of sport over in Europe. Had about 3.5 weeks away, which was wonderful. So fresh as a daisy. Went off Matty Ryan, the Socceroos skipper, play over in Valencia there for Levante, which was awesome. Shit result, but good night. Got to bucket list one for me as a Liverpool fan. Liverpool versus Aston Villa.
Bandwagon or like a legit fan?
Like my oldest supported sporting team is Liverpool. Yeah.
So, wow. Okay.
Since I was about 4 or 5 years old, whenever I could.
Did you feel the power of not walking alone?
It was freaking incredible. And we were also like on a 4 or 5 game losing streak for the first time in about over 10 years. So we broke that 1-2-0, beat Real Madrid in the Champions League while I was over there. Back to being ordinary again as of this morning against Man City. So got to the second league test as well there in Liverpool as well. That was the same day, so it was one of the best days of my life. Spent a bit of time with the missus while I was over there as well.
That's good. That's always good, you know.
Yeah, and the best part of all of it, mate, got back to the bloke in a bar, and I've got a bloke half knowledgeable about rugby league next to me. So,
shots fired.
I actually caught up with Roo in Liverpool, had a nice dinner over there, so life's good.
Mate, Guru, it's been a rough couple of days for Guru. He's getting called out by both co-hosts. I called him out for not having a team but talking shit about other teams, most cowardly thing you can do. But look, he'll be back to face the music. He'll be back to face the music.
Yeah.
The great Hammy, how you going, brother?
Very well, very well. Now, I was actually out there with Leaguie at Oasis on Friday.
On the front as well?
Not right down the front.
Okay.
We were in the front GA kind of area, but
Okay.
we weren't dedicated enough to get there at 9 a.m. and do all that sort of stuff. But I actually saw some photos, like a bit starstruck, on the official Oasis Instagram. Leaguie hanging over the front fence.
What, you made it?
Yeah, I made it.
No way.
I mean, look, being on Bloke, that's a level of fame, but being on Oasis's Instagram, that's a whole
That's
different thing.
offensive. That's really offensive, mate. So you made the Oasis Instagram.
I did. There's a picture
That
of
is
me
so
in
cool.
a Beatles hoodie just screaming in the camera.
Far
That
out.
was sick.
That is so cool. I gotta check that out. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Anything else? Obviously it's a huge week for yourself, isn't it? Is it
Sheffield Shield.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, obviously the squad's been named. Timmy, you'll be familiar with that as well. But we're seeing some of the big dogs in action at the SCG today.
Absolutely. MCQ.
SCG.
Oh.
No game at the MCG at the moment, but
the MCQ.
it's going to be exciting. I mean, we're 12 days away now from the first ball.
Yep.
At the Ashes, so you'll be very excited. I'm
Oh,
sure.
I cannot wait, bro. It's going to be the best. Best summer ever. Look, my weekend was great. No one asked who gives a shit. Don't worry about it. Let's get into the show. But before we do, I just wanted to say, and look, I don't want to get sentimental on the crew, but what a great year of rugby league.
Yeah.
It's been an incredible year of rugby league. And so I just thought, just quickly, favourite moment, worst moment, funniest moment. Mm-hmm. Favourite moment for me is obviously the premiership. Obviously the premiership. I'll never forget, in the pre-league game, and I'm not a religious man. Look, I respect all religions, but I'm just not a religious man. Maybe there is a higher power, I don't know. But I was praying to the footy gods. I remember when Renault was taking his kick against Penrith, I was literally at home on my knees saying, please. I was begging the footy gods to just get it over. And then, look, yes, did I nearly shed a tear when the boys won? I nearly did. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be afraid of my emotions, boys. I'm not going to be afraid of the passion that I feel for my team. There was a video going around of Jarrell Yaya shedding a tear. That's the special stuff. Listen, Broncos old boys might be the most ruthless of the lot, but we love our team. Favourite moment, boys, of the year?
It might be recency bias, but seeing Tonga's Sippy Tau versus Samoa's Siva Tau in front of 45K at Suncorp, that was pretty incredible.
Yeah,
for the
wow.
first time in 3 years.
Yep.
So.
What are your favourite, mate?
Miracle of Mudgee, mate. Raiders and Panthers.
Okay.
Ethan Strange, Kayo Weeks, one of the great games of all time. Again, I mean, in hindsight, we didn't really prove ourselves as genuine title contenders because we went out in straight sets. But, and for that game, for the Raiders to beat, the four-time reigning premiers on the trot, to happen out in the country, bit of bush footy, give the country folk an absolute, like the game, I won't say game of the year because the Raiders Broncos probably was, but regular season game of the year.
Crazy.
That was definitely my favourite moment of the year.
Yeah, just the way it all ended up too with, was it the Strange try? Kayo Weeks makes a break, Strange down the middle. Wow. I mean, I thought it was going to be Hunt's heroics, but I guess it wasn't that.
Yeah. I had a couple that I couldn't really split. They kind of evoke different emotions, but Reece Walsh toilet Watergate for me, I thought was a great moment in the year. Not only that, like drinking out of the toilet, but the follow-up of it, using it as a try celebration. Just Reece Walsh turning into a bit of a box office, like really kind of coming of age. That was pretty good. And the other favourite moment for me was Chamis taking on Gus on 100% footy.
Ooh.
Speaking of box office, bit of a clash of the Titans there, and I just liked someone holding him to account. Thought it was good television.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Chamis apparently is going to be the head of football if you read the articles on the weekend.
Sharp mind.
Sharp
I
mind.
forgot about that. That was iconic this year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Good shout.
Yeah.
Great. Look, Chamis has had a year, like a couple of years, Chamis.
Yeah.
Chamis is so hot right now.
He is. Like a good, strong head of hair on him, and he's, doing his
Very strong
doing
head
his
of
thing.
hair. Is he Hansel, you reckon? Hansel hot?
Not quite, but he's heading in the right direction.
He's so hot right now.
He is
seriously.
very hot.
When you get articles written about being the head of football in the off-season as a journo, it's the hottest thing ever.
Yep.
Okay, Maddie's favourite is Latrell field goal versus the Broncos.
Cop that.
Yeah, well, didn't need to. I mean, it could have been any other team. So my funniest moment, it was the toilet gate.
Yep.
Toilet gate. And just, it's obviously a memorabilia we've got here that's going to last the test of time. But to think it'll be in the echoes of history, as they say, it'll be the part of the grand final form that will kind of be like, you'll only probably remember it if you were there to see it. Like, because everyone will probably remember Reece Walsh's incredible grand final performance and greatest final series performance ever. But the people that actually viewed it will be like, bro, a few weeks before that all happened, he drank toilet out of a toilet. And it was like the craziest story across the nation. Statements getting released from the Brisbane Broncos, like saying, don't drink toilet water to the kids. That was my funniest moment. Funniest moment?
For me, there was only one possible funniest moment. It was round 6, Dolphins playing Panthers at Suncorp Stadium. Dolphins are leading 24-6 with 7 minutes to go. Cleary puts a kick into the in goal. And Bostock, trying to kick it dead, boomerangs it around and lands in the in goal. Moses Leota scores for what was his only try of 2025. That was so iconic.
I backed him anytime for that one as well.
Did you really? Far out. Timmy?
Yeah, I'm going to stick to a similar theme to you boys around toilets and Phil Gould and a recent social media post of Phil in the loo dropping a nug and decided at the time to take a bit of a selfie and put out a Twitter post that ended up going viral. And in the reflection was Phil dropping a nug.
That was good stuff. Good stuff. For me, I'm going with a coach. I think the Anthony Seibold "We're All Going to Die" interview for me.
Oh, bro. That's a classic.
Just put things in perspective for all of us through the season.
Yep.
Very, very droll, very funny. It's another one of those ones I think that's just going to be come up as a meme and just, keep
Just say it forever. Anytime you're like, well, we're all going to die, who cares?
That's right.
We're all going to die, so who cares?
It's a good point.
Maddie's funniest moment was, funniest moment, South losing their halfback in the first 5 minutes of round 5 and still beating the Roosters. Oh my God, bro.
So first you attacked him, now you've attacked me, essentially.
And not Guru as well, because he's a Roosters fan.
Yeah. No one's safe.
My worst moment, it's a distant memory, and clearly all my answers are Brisbane based. It's a distant memory now, but I remember in the middle of the year, it was absolute panic stations at the Broncos. It was, people were even talking about pressure, matches under pressure, and I didn't agree with any of that. But genuinely, it looked like mid-year that they were going to have to move on half the squad. People forget that. Mid-year, they were moving on half the squad. They were too soft, whinges, sooks, all that kind of stuff. That was the yarn coming out of Brisbane. And I'm just so proud of the boys that they obviously proved that incorrect is all nonsense. But that was the worst moment where I was like, oh, man, surely we're not going to have to do another rebuild. But I had faith, and my faith was repaid. That was my worst, but also turned into my best moment.
Well, I had at halftime in Game 3 of Origin, down 20-0, an absolutely biblical crash out, I would say. I was travelling overseas, invited some of my overseas mates to watch what I thought would be a good showcase of rugby league. But, man, I was just sobbing on the floor, absolutely fuming. That definitely stands out as the worst moment.
Halftime of you're a New South Wales man?
Yeah, New South Wales, yeah.
Yeah, I could tell. Timmy?
Yeah, there was some war wounds from the season, and the Blues was up there, but hard to go past Raiders Broncos at Canberra Stadium, being at the game, sitting next to a Raiders Hall of Famer in Ash Gilbert for that one, and we genuinely jumped up and embraced 3 different occasions thinking we were through to the prelim final. And, I don't need to go through the details of how it all played out. I think I was also wrongfully kicked out of Face the Music the following day. My brother lost his grand final down in Queanbeyan the day before after leading by 8 minutes to go. Yeah,
let it go, bro.
There's a few burdens, but definitely that Sunday afternoon, mate.
Yeah.
The one silver lining from it, and I don't care about it at the time, I don't really care about it now, I'm just trying to take a positive, is that it was one of the greatest rugby league games of all time. I was on the receiving end of it, but hands down that one.
Yeah, listen, I know the feeling, obviously, Broncos grand final a couple of years ago. I know the feeling where you kind of it was a pretty good game of rugby league. But, geez, wasn't that moment pivotal? When you really look at it, Raiders could have gone all the way.
Put it this way, and there's no reason why the Raiders couldn't have gone all the way. There's no reason why the Broncos couldn't have won 3 on the trot, but look, there were so many moments in that game that determined the fate of the premiership, but Reece Walsh's leg being flicked by Zach Hosking. The tip of his toe, had he missed that toe, what does the premiership look like?
Yeah, what does it look like? Because
moments. Rugby league's about moments.
Yeah.
That's one of them.
And you look at it and you go, could have they beaten Penrith? Absolutely. Could have they beaten the Storm? I mean, they are Storm's bogey side, essentially. And also, they were really the only team that put a big score on the Broncos. Whereas Penrith only 14 points. Storm. What did it end up being? Can't believe I'm forgetting this now.
Storm Raiders.
No, it's in Broncos Storm Grand Final. I'm forgetting how. It was like, was it 4 points? 4 points? Yeah. Yeah, because if Pappy scores under the points, they win. So, yeah, very, very pivotal moment. Perry, what about yourself, mate?
Worst moment of the year? For me, I think, and it's recent, probably the Eli Katoa debacle in the Tonga game. Just the process and what went wrong and, the fact that he ended up in hospital and all that sort of stuff. Hopefully, sounds like he's on the mend now, which is great, but... That was the one moment of the year I was like, oh, like that just, you could really feel the
bad taste.
Just a wind drop out of your sails a little bit as a rugby league fan. So,
and also a reminder of how dangerous the game is.
Correct,
like
100%.
It is so dangerous.
So that one for me is probably, a recent example, but that was the one where I was just like, oh yeah, that didn't like that.
Yeah. Can I get another favourite? Like, or am I being a dictator with that?
Well, it's your show. You can probably throw it in there.
You're already a dictator.
Right?
It is your show.
Yeah,
so
okay, fair enough.
Please.
Look, I just didn't want to remind you, but it was... it was actually Queensland's Game 3.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Like, tell me a team in the history that's ever had 17 players essentially play their best.
I'm not talking to you about this game.
Like, when was the last time we saw essentially 17 players play literally the best they could possibly
Probably
play?
05 grand final.
Jeez,
that game, bro.
You've had... Along with your new bub, you've had an all-time year campaign.
Yeah, and also, my first son was born in a premiership, like a grand final year for the Broncos, and the greatest grand final of all time, or one of. And then my second son born in a premiership year, and we haven't won a premiership for 20 years. So like, look, it's all fate. It's all fate. Look, am I the reason that we won the premiership because I had a son? Obviously. And what was your worst moment, Maddie? It was New South Wales losing Origin. You should be used to that by now. And also South Training Sessions losing Cam and Latrell. So it's
that
tied.
was rough.
That was rough for the whole...
Start of the year.
That was rough for the nation. That was rough for the
It
nation,
was.
that. Watching the Rabbitohs go through that, except for Roosters fans, obviously.
Loved it.
He just returned serve. So, yeah, anyway, I want to give, obviously, the players mainly a massive, just thank you. Obviously, the administration as well. Huge thank you. The fans have been incredible as well. Just an amazing year. I know we probably think it every year, the best year of footy, but like, what else could you? Like, obviously, I think what else you'd ask for is your team win the premiership. But like, outside of that, you couldn't ask that much more of a year of rugby league.
Yeah, game's in a brilliant spot.
Yeah, you just really couldn't. It's just had absolutely everything. But let's face a bit of music. Brought to you by friends over at Sportsbet. Give us a follow on the feed. Didn't get lucky this week. However, last week I did get Dylan Brown for a double.
Yeah, that's right. Just very quickly on those, best moment, funniest moment, worst moment. Get them in the comments, I reckon. Interesting reading, I reckon.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah,
your ones
bloody
were.
oath. Leave us a comment. What was the best, worst, and funniest moment of the year?
Yep.
Thanks, Hammy.
Yeah, no, hey, pleasure.
That's why you've been in the business for as long as you have. Never doubt an old warrior. That means he hasn't been killed in battle yet.
I live to give. All right, let's get into it. So, 2 games we had this weekend. Now, League, I know you submitted some tips to me, but I took Surly's on board, given that he was in the chair last week. And thank God I did, because once again, you gave me a try scorer that didn't end up playing the game. And you also had England 13 plus, so probably did you a favour there.
You had England 13 plus?
Live by the sword, die by the sword. That's what I say.
What
Go
the
out in a
hell?
blaze of
Man,
glory.
you died 2 weeks ago, bro.
Yeah.
Try and revive yourself with some safe bets.
Yeah, 2 nudie runs in 3 weeks.
Oh my
So
God.
thankfully I didn't count your count for this week. All right, so Australia 30 defeat England 8. The good news there, 8-0 Ashes clean sweep across the rugby league and the cricket, still alive, which we love to see as Aussie sports fans.
Absolutely.
Matty and Surly had Australia 13 plus, $1.54. Myself and Denon had the Aussies to cover the 16.5. Fill up on try scorers here. Denon and Surly had Hudson Young and Angus Crichton, both at $3.35 respectively.
Oh, man.
I had Walshy, $1.80. And Matty had Marky Mark, who actually went the whole series without a try. So
Jeez, Matt, he had 8 errors in two games. It wasn't the best 2 games for the big fella.
So anyway, a bit of a fill up for everybody else. And then the next game, Kiwis 36 defeat Samoa 14. Everyone had the Kiwis head to head, $1.65. Silly had the Kiwis to cover the 2.5. No one hit a try scorer. And in the Melbourne Cup, no one got near it either.
Yes,
So
I got 4th, didn't I? 3rd.
Fourth doesn't mean anything.
No, hang on a sec. You said
run
near
fourth
it.
in the cup.
No, wait. You said near it. You said near it. That's near it.
Nah.
Come on. That's not near it?
I tipped England and they
What's
finished
near it
second
then?
in the Ashes.
Yeah.
Hang on a sec.
Good
What's
point.
near it then?
Place, top 3.
I think did he come
Yeah.
3rd or 4th? 3rd. Did Middle Earth come
I know who
3rd?
you're on. 3rd.
He come 3rd. That's near it.
Middle Earth, did he come 3rd?
I believe so.
You just confirmed without even. I think he came third.
No, I'm pretty sure he came
because he
third.
kicked late, and I'm sitting there going, "I'm on here."
Yeah.
Fucking great. Like if there's one thing I know, it's horse racing.
Yeah,
bro.
around third.
Yeah.
That's near.
Well,
it.
you got near it, I suppose, but still didn't win.
Getting roasted, my buddy.
Still didn't win. Which is what I'm looking for. Looking for winners here.
Was that a Lord of the Rings pick, Kempy?
It was.
Yeah, it was a lot of.
What gave it
Rate
away?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The name of the horse, probably. All right, so Internationals Week 3, Denon, $6.90.
When the pressure ramps up, I just deliver. I'm a big game player.
Yep. Surly, $6.79. Myself, $5.35. Matty, $3.19. So overall,
Always chokes.
overall for the postseason, myself, $15.68.
Who
And of
cares?
course, this is the real pinnacle of the game.
No,
the
it's
regular
not.
season. International
No
footy
one
is the
cares.
pinnacle of the game. The rotating seat, which is a combo of the Leaguie and Surly, $6.79. $9.39. Denon, you're $11.21. Matty, $8.85.
So I was second?
You were second.
Oh my god! I'm just when the pressure kicks up, like I start the Face Music International Footy on my ass, basically nudie run guaranteed.
Yep.
Claw my way back valiantly
Yeah, second's not bad.
into second, which is near first.
It's not as bad.
Are you genuinely celebrating second?
Yeah, because over the season, first in Face Music, did you even? He had to cheat to get into the final series.
didn't
He was
cheat.
he was literally out of the final
top
series.
4 final series.
So first and second, yeah, I'll take that.
Yep.
I'll take that because I just get sport.
And I was
Yeah.
first in the international window. So a great season of Face the Music.
What a great season. But
Really
look, this is where everyone thinks that rugby league, but cricket's about to start. So if you think I've got into me work in the footy season, I'm about to really put the hammer down in the cricket
Watch
season.
this space.
Watch this space.
Yep.
Just hit the stumps. Seriously, that's all you need to do.
Simple game.
Simple game.
Very simple game. Sand white pumpkins and hit the stumps. Do I need to draw a map for you? That's Face Music brought to you by Sportsbet.
It is.
Make sure to stay tuned for more Face Music at the end. What are we doing at the end of the
Yeah,
show?
we might even cast our eye over to the Ashes, I reckon. The bat on ball, your one wood.
Yeah,
So
well, I'm ready.
Yep.
Prepared.
let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, let's get into the biggest story of the week, proudly brought to you by Code Sports. Don't forget, guys, go to codesports.com.au/bloke. You get your discount. And the biggest story of the week, I mean, I think we all know what it is. But first of all, Mobsy, how you going, mate?
Hey boys, I'm going very well. I quite enjoyed Face the Music this week. Rep round Face the Music,
Yeah.
outstanding.
Thank you.
Really separates the men from the boys. Congrats, Hammy.
Correct. Thank you.
All reaffirms who is great at this
It's
stuff.
the jewel in the Face the Music crown. Very much on the international window.
My God, bro, that's such a G up. That is such a look.
Get around me.
Look, seriously, he had to. Let's just remind the people. Let's cast our minds back. End of season. What do you have to do in final series? He had to rig the system to even get a chance
I
in the
scraped into
finals.
finals and I won the eliminator.
Yeah.
Remember that, Timmy?
Well, I was the one who got booted as a result of the cheating, so yeah, I remember.
You lose the eliminator, you get eliminated, mate. It's pretty simple stuff.
One of sports great fairy tales I found. this
Yeah, it
season.
was getting to week
Great.
2 of Face the Music finals and then bowing out to Guru. Something to build on for next year.
What's the big story this week, mate?
Well, we're talking Payne Haas this week because
damn.
Brent Reid on the weekend.
Can I change my worst moment of the year, please? Because it might be right now.
It's
Depends
incoming.
if this happens, right? This is the concern. The fear from the weekend was R360 is getting ready to announce its first lot of signings, and there's a growing belief amongst them that Payne Haas is leaning towards going with money. Money talks, doesn't it? All languages, and he's been offered a buttload to head over there, and may have potentially played his last game in rugby league with Samoa in Pacific Championships final. By no means across the line yet, but the mail doing the rounds is that he's going to have some big decisions to make shortly, and whether the NRL's deterrence of a potential 10-year ban for player and manager is enough to put the kibosh on this remains to be seen. But interestingly, Broncos bosses not overly concerned at this stage. Peter V'landys at Pacific Champs final at CommBank yesterday also sort of laughing it off. Has some questions around the business model of how they're going to fund this long term, but which he may end up being right. But in the short term, if they manage to get a couple of signings across the line, and that would be a real blow to rugby league, right?
So what is Payne Haas's manager saying right now?
Well, on the record, probably not much with the threat of that.
Okay, yes, the 10-year thing,
That
yes.
10-year ban. But
What might he be saying?
Well, the thing is, they put off any sort of discussions while the final series was on, and also to get clarity around what would happen if they had conversations or if there's anything going on. And so we're going to be obviously a bit careful here as to what we may be accusing people of. But there's obviously people around Payne Haas who are talking, and the figures they're talking about at the moment are, upwards of $3 million a season, and
Australian, that is 2 million American, 3 million.
2 million US, 3 million Australian, and tax incentives. So you're keeping a lot of this money that you're earning, and when it comes down to it, NRL clubs, if the Broncos would be third in what they can offer, I'd assume, because you're talking about 1.2. He's already the highest paid forward in Broncos history, and he'd be looking at a deal about 1.2 million after the end of next season to remain at the Broncos. Perth, you'd think, would come in a little higher than that, upwards of 1.5, although interestingly, Mal Meninga has said that they will not go overboard on a marquee for risk of throwing out their roster totally, but obviously...
Payne Haas, I'd probably pay 1.5 for him.
I'd pay 1.5 for him, definitely.
If I'm Perth.
And then you look at what R360 can potentially offer you, and we were talking off air before, you had a bit of insight into what that league and how it was put together could potentially look like.
Yeah, my understanding, and this is just like whispers through the grapevine. It'll be similar-ish to like the F1 Drive to Survive in the sense that maybe not the content, but the F1. So apparently, what they're going to do is get all the players that get signed. They will travel to us. I think like a home base in like America or something like that. They'll do a preseason all together. So imagine every single NRL player going to Sydney. They all stay together for 2 weeks and do a preseason all together, and then the players will be filtered out into the sides. I think that's to try and make it even as to the competition. Because my understanding, and I know there's going to be some F1 nuts out there. Are you a big F1 man?
I'm a big F1 man.
So is that accurate that they put them together and train them together initially, and then they go back to their Mercedes and all that kind of stuff?
It kind of varies. I mean, some of them are signed to the major Formula One teams.
Yep.
But they don't always necessarily filter through to them. Often they can end up being placed in other teams in order to get some experience and then filter through to the top. But they do all compete together in Formula 3 and Formula 2. So that centralized thing is sort of like what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. And so what they'll do is 2 weeks, they do a preseason together, and then they all get selected out for their side. Now, I think there's a draft or something like that. Yeah, a draft happens. So obviously, there will be content around that. Will be super exciting. And then they go for 5 weeks. They do a preseason with their teams. They're given teams that they're selected for. Then after that, it's a 16-week comp, I think, max. That's the maximum amount of games you'll play. So essentially, let's say you're on $1 million a year and it's tax-free. Or at least mostly taxed. Now, I don't know how it would work in bringing that money back into the country because then it's going to get taxed. So if you're going to do that, you're probably going to have to leave your money outside the country. But anyway, that's for smarter minds than me, that's for sure. You guys know I'm not an accountant, right? You know? Okay.
Yeah, aren't you?
Yeah, well, no, not an accountant. And so then basically 16 games. So really, you're looking at and there are plenty of people that do like FIFO out there to a degree. It's almost like if you could put it in your mind 6 months on, so you would have your family with you at all times because they take care of you like that. They also provide, I think it's like a certain amount of free flights home as well, and then basically you have 6 months off. So there are guys that are going to be earning it's not just what the Rugby 360 are going to pay. If you go and do the Rugby 360 comp, but then you all go do and I don't know if they coincide, they might overlap, but let's say they don't. You might be able to go play in Japan for 6 months. There's a real chance that Payne Haas could honestly earn $5 million. Imagine if he goes plays Rugby 360, it's already essentially worth around $4 to $5 million because of the tax incentives and everything. But then he goes and gets paid $1 million to play in Japan or something like that. In 2 years' time, he seriously could have earned maybe $6 million cash in the bank. There's $6 million in his bank, maybe more. And that's a conservative amount. So that's what's being offered to some of these bigger superstars.
Yeah, and the thing with Payne Haas is you've got to remember that both parents currently behind bars facing separate charges on things. So Payne has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders with his family, with his brothers to look after.
Well, he's the provider of not only his family, but his extended family.
Yeah. So he's got a lot to look at. So, and and not to put a dampener on the year of Kemp where everything's gone right.
Well, yeah, you've ruined it already. Thanks.
Payne Haas has all but achieved everything in rugby league now, right? Represented Australia, represented Samoa now, Blues, won premierships. When you look at that side of things, he's achieved pretty much everything the game's got to offer, and he's still only 25, so there's a lot for him to go through. And for people out there, and I've been sceptical about this because, but you get mixed messages from the NRL who brush it off and go, oh, we're not concerned about it, we've seen financial models. But on the flip side, you're threatening 10-year bans for anyone that considers it. So you're kind of preparing. I know clubs are wary of it, right? Because, the threat is real. So you look at what happened with Live Golf, right, Timmy, with, and how that...
Very similar.
It was very much, all right, you're the devil, we're the goodies, you're the baddies, this is where things are, and then slowly creeping back towards each other to find some middle ground. And I guess if this gets off the ground and proves financially viable, that you would then potentially see maybe a softening from the World Rugby organisations, the different countries, because they've all been fairly solid against R360 as an unsanctioned competition, and that's the key term in all this is the unsanctioned part of it, because that's where the NRL's pushing this with 10-year bans. And you talk to legal people we have, and they're of differing views as well as to whether legally players could challenge that 10-year ban. And will you really not see him back in the comp again if he goes and earns a bit of money for the next few years?
I'd be very surprised if they don't allow him to come back into the comp.
Without going down like a rabbit hole, when this all came out, that was my exact thing when they were talking about these 10-year bans was, okay, so I'm going to work for another employer and you're saying that I can't come back for 10 years. I've done nothing wrong. I've just gone to work for another employer. These are contracted players. Like, is that really going to stand up? Seriously?
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. And it's not even 10-year ban for breaking your contract. It's if you're off contract and you go, then...
Done nothing wrong.
That's it. So
if we lock a guy like Payne Haas out of the game for 10 years, that is nothing but self-defeating. So I really, really doubt that they'll enforce that.
What in law, what area are you studying at the moment?
A little bit of everything to get through to the... I mean, this would be to do with contract law, and as Mobsy said, there are very much two sides to it. I can see both arguments. When we had something like the draft in rugby league and it was ruled a restriction on trade, this seems like a restriction on trade to me.
Yep.
But then again, the NRL is its own free enterprise. It can set its own rules for who it wants to employ and who it doesn't. So
has it dug itself a bit of its own kind of grave to a degree by announcing that this is the reason they'll stop players coming back in, instead of being like keeping it vague, so when the thing does happen, they've got more options to say this is why a player's not coming back.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean,
Thank you, appreciate it.
I'm just a law student. I wouldn't take any of this as legal advice.
Hey, I'm a Google law student, bro. So I'm willing to say stuff with my chest that means nothing.
But it's why I've said for ages that I'm waiting for R360 to make their first proper tangible move, because that's when we'll see, okay, we'll actually have contracts to look at. We'll actually have, people who might challenge it, might not. So really, until that happens, we just need to wait and see.
Speaking of contracts, is Roo locked in for 2026? Because this is such a breath of fresh air. I'm enjoying every bit of this.
Hey, listen, he's been trying to strong arm me in regards to renegotiation. So, maybe we've got a bit of leverage now.
I mean, we know you couldn't afford me, Dan. So.
And just on the Perth stuff as well, last week, obviously, there was a couple of names that came through of some potential first signings, and not big names, but Marley Bittengani, the Tanzanian-born Cowboys kid, and Luke Smith from the Bulldogs, who are both 22, set to have a year over in London and then come back for the 2027 season. But I know Matt's behind me. I can't see his face, but a couple of names been thrown around Perth. Keon Kaloa-Matangi.
He's right behind you now. Not 10 metres.
There's a breath on the back of my head. Yeah, which concerning if you're a Souths fan, because Keon, great season, capped it off internationally, so tough one there. And maybe Liam Henry could be another one.
Yeah, okay,
So,
it makes sense. It makes sense because young, bloody good player. So just back to the Payne situation. I guess let's talk about our opinion on this, because we've spoken about the mechanics of it all. The opinion of what he should do. I'd love to get your thoughts if you're putting yourself in Payne's situation.
I mean, I've never been subject to that amount of money, so it's difficult to say. But with Payne Haas, I mean, we often forget, although he's young, he came into the NRL when he was super young. So yes, he's 25, but he might not play until he's 33 or 34. So taking the bag at this point in his career, given everything he has achieved, I wouldn't really hold it against him.
Just quickly, Mobsy, taking the bag means taking the money. Just so you're
Right.
aware.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay, I was
Sorry.
6'7".
I'm not sure if you're as cool as us, young, cool kids. Like, I'm 25 years old, he's 23. We're just young kids.
definitely not as cool.
Yeah.
And what's his 6'7", 5'8" halfback?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Good combo.
Guys, let's not, please. Please.
Timmy, thoughts on it?
Yeah, look, I bleed bloke, Kempy, you know that, loyal as they come. But if Jimmy Graham and the Bayern come to me and say, we'll offer you 5 times the money you're getting with bloke and you can do half the amount of work.
Tax-free.
Tax-free, my loyalties are going to be tested.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Give me a chance to make it up to you, mate. You want to win Prems?
Well,
you want to win Prems?
Yeah, actually, I'm in the right place. I know. I'd never do it to you. I just take out the personal side of Payne Haas and the family and all the commitments that he has and responsibilities in Australia. Looking at it as a standalone contract offer and what that might mean, for all those reasons, 4 or 5 times the money, if not the rest. As you said, you add in maybe a French rugby stint or Japanese rugby, more money there. Especially the fact that he's coming off the back of just winning a premiership. So he's done most things you can do in rugby league as it is. Like, you'd probably take it. Seriously.
Hammy, what do you reckon, mate? What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, he's to your point, Mobs. He's like ticks so many boxes now. He's won premiership, probably the big thing that he was, eluded him off his CV. But he's in such a unique situation, given his family position, and he's like the key provider and all that sort of stuff. So now that he's ticked a lot of that stuff off, and he's gone and played for Samoa as well, which is another thing that was high on his list. Like, what do you want him to do? Just stay and continue to play on a third of the money or less, for the next 5 or 10 years. Like, if you're being offered that amount of money and you've got to provide for your family the way that he does, I think, like, how can you really hold that against someone like him? Given all that he's given to the game and all the good things he's done and everything that he's achieved, I think if the money's there for him, good on him. It's going to be really interesting to see how firmly they stick to that. If you negotiate with 360 and you get caught, you're done for 10 years. This is the big litmus test. One of the biggest stars in the game has just done it. Are they actually going to follow through with it, or what will happen?
And just the obvious one end as well is obviously injury. Like, Payne Haas is one injury away, like any athlete on the planet is, from never playing again and going back to a regular job on a regular salary. He plays 1 year over there, gets his 4 or 5 mil, whatever it is, and you're set up for the rest of your life. Like, that's the way I look at it.
Mobsy, what do you reckon? Are you reckon he'll take it, not take it? Or should he take it?
It's funny, right? You look back over the years of the players who have walked out on league and the response that they got. Sonny Bill Williams went, Mark Gasnier went and played French rugby, and before that you had the code hoppers of Lottie and Wendell and Matty Rogers, and the sky's falling, and rugby league just keeps on trucking. So if I'm Payne Haas and I'm looking at all those factors, I'm seriously considering it. But, he's got to decide what he wants. And he goes with my blessing if he does. So that's, it sucks to see him go because such a great player to watch and really enjoyable. So, but if he can go and earn it, then he can, because I think rugby league will still be okay. And no disrespect to R360, but much like most of the rugby union stuff, I shan't be watching. It just doesn't float my boat. So
there's 2 things about this that haven't been... I think that's spoken about. I guess it's the idea of him being a world superstar. And I say, we all keep talking about what's the business model. And granted, I don't think the business model looks great or whatever. I haven't seen it, but my assumptions are how do they make the money. We keep talking about what if it doesn't work? But what if it does work? What if they do have a Netflix deal? What if Payne Haas becomes a world star like Sonny Bill did? Like, that was something that Union offered Sonny Bill that League could never. He has millions of followers because of it. There's a huge population that would really get behind Payne Haas if he killed it in Union. And so there's that part of it as well.
Just before you go on your second one, Kempy, the thing with Payne Haas is obviously he puts bums on seats, but when you're talking the highest paid player in this competition that's throwing out millions of dollars, he's not a bums on seat kind of personality like a Reece Walsh is or a Kalen Ponga is, especially in rugby union where he plays second row forward or like flank or whatever it might be, where you're charging off the back of a rack and hitting it up. That's not a bums on seat kind of thing where you become a global superstar. In terms of the impact on the rugby side he plays for, he'll be phenomenal and be worth every cent, I'm sure, but it's different to your flashy fullback or fly half, whatever it might be.
There's a little piece of the puzzle, like he's a devout Muslim.
Yeah.
And so the Muslim population across the world, if he becomes a superstar, like they will get behind him. And so there's that. But also, I understand what you're saying in regards to the bums on seats thing. I really do get it. However, I do think there's a large Samoan population that would the Polynesian population in general, if he was put up as like the guy that's going to rugby 360, I do think that like that's a lot of people, like because he is so I guess multicultural to a degree. There's a lot of different people that he could be drawn from. Like it's almost like by playing for the Broncos, he's being held back from that wider audience because he's playing for a specific team. But I understand what you're saying. Like, is he a Reece Walsh or whatever? I do think though, with the right push, the right documentary, the right whatever. He's the potential to become, I wouldn't say like a world star, but like, for example, what's, the rugby union world in regards to how many people that watch rugby is like, what is it? I don't know. A lot more than league when it comes to the world. So you've got to think that the rugby world would embrace him if he's killing it in rugby 360 and it goes really well. So when I think of all that, I think of the fact that he's a devout Muslim and there's obviously, 1 billion of them, 2 billion Muslims now. Then you've got obviously the rugby union world, which is also, I don't know, we'll just say 50 million or something like that. There's a lot of numbers to pull from if he goes and becomes the greatest or a great player in that kind of sport or whatever.
And I suppose the thing that holds back that potential is, right, like, ARU and all that have said you don't play for the Wallabies, right, if you play R360. So I see exactly what you're saying. If you could go and play it and then go play for the Wallabies, that can put your profile through the stratosphere. But as I said, I don't think that many people are going to watch R360 realistically.
Oh, no, as I said, and that's what I mean. Like, this is glass half full thinking. If it works.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, he goes there, he gets $2 million, he comes back in a year or so. So that's why I said at the start, we're all sitting here thinking the business model doesn't look great. It's probably not going to work, blah, blah, blah. Like, where's all the money coming from? But if it does work and it becomes a sensation, like if you had said F1 10 years ago, being an F1 fan, would become mainstream when people like me watch it religiously and like one of me and my wife's dreams is to go on Monaco, is it? Yeah. We want to go there together. Like, I don't know anything about it, but because it was on Netflix, because there was a documentary, now I'm engaged with it, and something similar could happen in rugby. I don't think it will, but it could.
Yeah.
I think the other side of it, oh man, now I forgot the other side of it. Oh, the other thing that I think it increases his likelihood of going is the fact that he took a team from the wooden spoon to a premiership. Like, it's one thing going from entering into a team that's like in the top 4 and like they might have a bit of a drought of like a few years or whatever, but like to go from a spoon to a premiership, like you can really never question his greatness. Like, and I understand, oh, well, what about 4 in a row? But it's like, guys, that's the exception. It's not the rule. Like, let's be real here. So like those are the two reasons. The reasons, and now this is my pitch, Payne. I know you're a big watcher of the bloke thing. I guess the only thing I would say is that, and this is, I guess, the dad coming out in me, is you can never get those moments back of living where you want to live, doing what you want to do, being happy doing it. Now, you may get paid a lot of money over in Rugby 360, and it may, but you know what? I'm willing to sacrifice these 2 years to set up my future. But you can just never get those moments back. That being able to nip round to your family's home or going down to, obviously, your family's got the situation at the moment. You can never get those minutes back. And I guess if you do go to Rugby 360, doesn't matter how much money they pay you, when you're 60 years old, you're never going to be like, yeah, I wish I took that. I'm glad I took that money instead of spending that extra time with my mother or my father or my brothers or my sisters. And so it is that trade-off of like, you are like a lot of people are going to go, oh, what do you got to lose? It's $4 million. It's $5 million. You lose time, which is the most valuable commodity that we have. Like if someone said to me now, and I know this is a different situation, but like because he's going to have his family with him, but like his little brothers, where do they go? Do they go with him? Do they not? And so I know I'm talking about like my sons or whatever, but there's no amount of money you could offer me to sacrifice that many minutes with my sons. Whereas if you said like, oh, I don't know, it's a 6-month thing or something, maybe I consider it. Not right now while they're young, but you know what I'm saying. That's the point of it is that. Yes, there is sacrifice. If you are so happy in life right now, you wake up each day going, this is great, got a wife, got my children, my brothers, life is good, I get paid $1 million to play footy, sometimes that's enough. Like we're so caught up in this, look, I don't want to get philosophical with you all, but we are so caught up, oh, it's money. Like, yeah, it's money. Like he's already got that. Yes, it is going to set him up potentially more than he's already set up, but he is set, man. Like he is, I feel like if you're not a materialistic person, and we've all got it to a degree, if you're already earning $1 million a year for the next 10 years and all the other stuff that you can do after footy, like you're not going to have to worry about bills. You're always going to have your family's always going to be safe. They're always going to be provided for. Like the only thing that will change is like you might be able to buy 5 Ferraris instead of maybe, 1 Ferrari. in my opinion. That's just my opinion. So, like, and yeah, I get it. There's going to be people saying, oh, it's your Broncos bias. I would say this to any player. Like, if you're going to take the bag, as the kids would say, there is a price. There's always a price. And the price is, especially if you're working away from home, like, think of all the why do FIFOs get paid so much? Because the price they're paying is the family, the time at home. So that's my look. And I know, like, you could say, oh, you know, build a great dynasty at the Broncos and all that, but like Spoon to the premiership, like, what more do you need to build, bro?
Yeah.
What more do you need? Like, there's no one ever sitting there saying that he's not like the greatest forward. I mean, okay, yeah, there might be some people who go Webby or Petrol or whatever, but really, like, individually, I think he's the greatest forward we've ever had. He can always, and what's crazy is he can do it for 2 years and come back. The NRL's not going to stand his way.
And as Mobsy said, like, if he does leave, I don't think anyone realistically is going to begrudge and say,
No
oh, what
way.
did you take that? You'd be like, good on him. He's entitled to do what he wants and he's achieved essentially everything in the league as it is. But if he does stay for all those beautiful reasons, campaign.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I had a tear in my eyes. I was saying.
It
I was crying.
It was touching. And but you bang on, mate. Like, there was a lot of validity to it. It'd be awesome to see. And his legacy in rugby league for turning down the bag goes through the roof. And it was like, this bloke who we already loved, he's just a legend.
Well, there is a legacy that he can chase, and I'm not saying this to be a dick, but it's an Origin legacy. It is this Queensland fucking bastards keep beating us, and can I be the leader? Almost a bit like the leader Fish has been for New Zealand recently. Can he be that for New South Wales? So there's still, you know, legacy stuff that he can achieve. Granted, he probably still can achieve if he goes away for 2 years and comes back. But, like, you know, he did. You can see his Origin career going like this at the moment. He's just getting better and better and better. Can he finally be that dog that goes to the Queensland Park and says, no more. That's something he can chase.
I would love to see that. I do want to touch briefly on Sonny Bill Williams because we drew that comparison earlier. I've got an article here from 2019. Haas is quoted saying, I speak to Sonny. Sonny's a real good brother of mine. He's always messaging me, making sure I'm all right. He's always providing good guidance for me. I'm learning off one of the best to ever do it. So potentially, you know, Sonny Bill could be giving him some advice in terms of leaving and then coming back. So,
and there's that religious connection as well.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
Like
so
the
that
strongest connection.
could be a factor. Not that I want to downplay the beautiful speech you just gave.
Oh, thank you.
That could be a feature that's pushing the way.
I would say, like, I do reckon if you said to Sonny, would you handle it differently? I reckon he would have handled it differently. I don't know for sure, but I reckon he would have. However, if you said to Sonny, would you have not gone to Union? Like, I don't. Like, winning World Cups, become a world star. Now he's doing food reviews, I think.
I think what this means is that Payne's going to go play over there for a couple of years, then come back to the Roosters and win a premiership.
Oh, it's all, you know what? Politis always has his hand in somewhere.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
You want to talk about legacy? Don't worry about the Roosters. Come back and win Parramatta one. Let's go there.
Tigers, maybe?
We're good, mate. We got Terrell, mate.
Thanks, Mobsy, for joining us. We appreciate it. That's brought to you by Code Sports. Great insight, mate. We really do appreciate it. Codesports.com.au/bloke. Get your discount. And, mate, we'll see you next week, most likely.
Yeah, and if Timmy's still here, if he's not been poached by someone else, I'll see you
Watch this space.
Are there going to be headlines coming out like Timmy's speaking to the opposition?
10-year ban from bloke.
Mate, 20-year ban. 20-year ban from bloke. I'm not going to hold it up, though. Thanks, Mobsy. Appreciate it, mate.
Cheers, boys.
Thank you. Alrighty, it is time for Aspley Mazda Service of the Week, proudly brought to you by Luke Camilleri. LDC_01. Make sure to give him a follow. Make sure to give him a message. Massive sale for bloke community members only on used cars. 120-point check to make sure they are good to go. Make sure they live up to the standard of Aspley Mazda and Lukey. Give them a follow. Give them a message if you're in the business of getting a used car, also a new car as well. But first of all, love to welcome Lukey to the show, mate. How you going, brother?
Really good, mate. Thanks for having me. Going well.
Mate, the tan looks great. Looks like you spent a day or two out in the boats fishing.
Yes, mate. I've been working hard on it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that.
Mate, this week's service of the week it's Junior Bowler to Samoa. I just think that to bring out that level of I guess a throwback. Junior Bowler playing like that. We're talking when he was known as essentially one of, if not the best front row in the competition. But it's not only the front rower side of things. There was a set there for Samoa's first try where he gets hits a right foot step, hits an overs line. I think he makes Nikora turn in. Molo goes through. They get a quick play of the ball. Guess who's steaming for the next hit up? And we're talking about a forward pack that had Payne Haas in it. So he was ready to go. It's Junior Bowler. So Junior Bowler, he's steaming in behind the ruck. He then gets an offload to Payne Haas. They then eventually get the ball out to Toto and score. And I just think as a captain, think of, we often see these great men lead their country and we're sitting, incredible what he's done, he's achieved and the way he's playing, whatever. But we never actually sit back and go, that's just a normal bloke with the pressure of a nation on his shoulders. And Junior Paulo showed why he is not just a normal bloke. He's an extraordinary bloke. I think the way he has handled himself, I think the way he's led Samoa the last few games has been nothing short of incredible.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about the leaders in the game, I feel like he often doesn't get the credit that he deserves. You see him like leading the Siva Tower even before the game. It's just so inspirational. And I love that set that you mentioned where, he did the little bit of ball playing and then straight away, once they got a quick play of the ball, he's in behind the rock, charging through. It was a brilliant performance from him. 36 tackles as well, so doing it on both sides of the ball. Very, very good player. Yeah,
and also, like, we've been ranting and raving about the Eels turnaround. Like, guess who's one of their leaders? Like, it's Junior Paulo. So he's just been... Timmy, what do you think of Junior Paulo's last couple of games?
The year in general has been ageless, hasn't he? Going through a big rebuild at Parramatta. He's been the staple there in that forward pack and will be moving forward. But watching Samoa and the 1-2 punch of him and Payne Haas, he's unbelievable, wasn't it? And
so
what
good.
he was able to do yesterday, I know they didn't get the job done, but a phenomenal Pacific Championships series.
And Lukey, before I want to ask you, first of all, it's been an incredible year. So I want to ask you favourite moment, worst moment, funniest moment. But just quickly, and this is more for me, mate, you've been in business for 31 years. And like, obviously it's on a small scale compared to, leading a nation as a captain. However, there's a lot of pressure in leading a large business like yourself. What's a kind of a bit of advice for someone that might be in business or even in sport, just about leading a team?
Well, I think there's a lot of similarities, mate. So, it's been 31 years, but the last probably 15 of them has been as a leader. And I think you hold that. You want to grow for your team, you want to lead from the front, you want to set the example, and I guess that's where your accountability piece, isn't it, so you only accept what you put out and as a you do every day. So I think that's why you got your harsh disciplines and your big level of motivation. So, what I use probably, like every day with my team, football analogies, because it's the best way to be, and in attack, we do it as per a game plan, and we only execute when the time's right. In the defence, we're shoulder to shoulder. So, there's a lot of similarities there, but I think as a leader, you've got to be the one calling the shots and leading from the front.
Mate, my dad always used to say the saying, you only get out what you put in. It's just such a quick, good little saying. And obviously the bloke's motto, which is always turn up. Always turn up one more day than the other bloke, you'll beat him. Mate, favourite moment of the year, worst moment, funniest moment?
Favourite moment probably would have been, not that I'm a Broncos supporter, but, I've got a few people close there. Watching them come through that back end, through that little miracle period there. That last few games was just outstanding. So I never thought I'd actually say this, but I was really impressed with that. So that was probby my favourite. Worst. Mate,
that looked painful to say. That looked painful.
Mate,
what
it was painful. That's why I couldn't look. I had to look down. Probably the worst was the Dragons. I just thought there was hope there for them midway through the season. Especially early on, they lost so many games. 2 or 4 points, and they were in it the whole time. To lose 2 games, in 3 weeks when they had like a massive lead at half time. So, and there wasn't too much funny stuff this season, actually, as a Dragons supporter. Not much at all, mate. It's now just looking for the next season. So.
Mate, and before I let you go, what's happening in Aspley Mazda at the moment?
Plenty going on. I know you mentioned used cars earlier, but we do have our biggest sale, or it's called our warehouse clearance sale, which is this weekend. That's every car that's in the dealership, new, used, company car, demo. If you can see it, you can own it. Everything's priced to clear. So everything's at a special price just for this Saturday only. But if you are a bloke member, I can do something else as a little value add on top of that. So it's a time to buy. So if you're in the market within the next 7 days, it is definitely the time. But the market at the moment, it's really starting to beef up. Usually this time of the year, coming on to Christmas time, people get in a bit of a hurry, and we have play clearance. So if you're looking for ever an opportunity, it's a real retail moment right now.
Mate, you're killing me because me and my wife are potentially looking to have a third child, and she goes, we were driving the other day in the Mazda that you obviously took care of us and I purchased from you, and she's like, we've got to speak to Lukey. And I was like, maybe we don't. Let's just relax and enjoy this car. But she's like, hey, we can't fit a third child seat in. So, mate, you might see me in the Aspley Mazda dealership soon looking for is it a 9-seater? A 9-seater? We were looking at reviews. A 7-seater. There you go. There
You just want another Broncos
You don't need to worry about anything with cars, mate. I've got that covered. I'm the car man.
Okay, appreciate it. That was good, Timmy. I like that.
Yeah, I know. I thought so as well.
Because every year I've had a kid, there's been a Broncos grand final, so I just need to start pumping them out.
Guaranteed.
Lock it in. And mate, Lukey, thanks so much for joining the show. And as always, mate, thank you so much for the support. We appreciate it. And I'll absolutely be chatting to you soon. Alrighty, let's get into the game, shall we? Let's get into the games. We're going to flip it. We're going to go New Zealand versus Samoa first, and then into Australia versus England. So let's get straight into it. Obviously, we'll get through our little segments from the game, and then we'll go deeper into the game. But firstly, the Hungriest player. I mean, I think yes, you could have, if you really wanted to, given it to a couple of other boys because they were really good. But I think, honestly, the only person that you could give Hungriest player to is Dylan Brown for back-to-back weeks. Dylan Brown, because he was last week as well. He was unbelievable. Let me read you his stats from the weekend, because in international rugby league, I'm trying to think of a sixth that has had these kind of stats. Now, granted, maybe you'll be able to find one that's been similar, but I'll tell you what, there wouldn't be many. So in a Pacific Champ Finals, Dylan Brown had 3 try assists. He ran for 192 metres. 66 of them were post-contact. He had 10 tackle breaks. He had 1 line break. He had 3 line break assists. And then, to top it all off, he had 6 offloads for 16 tackles, 3 misses, no errors. Absolutely incredible performance. And I think, we are a recency bias kind of in anything in life, really, but in footy especially, there's a lot of people that, Dylan he's no good, he's this, he's that, because they saw him play this year at 7. I think it's just a little reminder, especially for people that watch rugby league for a few years now religiously, we know how good Dylan Brown is. Dylan Brown is a Dally M level 5'8" at his best, and I think he showed it on the weekend.
Yeah, well, it's good to see another Dylan thriving in the rugby league world. That is obviously my name. To supplement those stats, I'll give you some stats across the 3 games that he played for New Zealand this year. Average of 159 running metres, 7 try assists in total, 19 tackle breaks in total, 53 tackles made, 5 missed. So obviously yesterday was particularly good, but he's done it across 3 games. To be able to show that consistency against some pretty quality opposition, very impressive.
Super. And I granted there's all the caveats, like can the Knights forwards pack get him forward and get him quick play balls. That's all true. However, as a Knights fans, I know it's 10 years, but that's already happened. The 10-year deal is done. So there's not much you can do about it. What you can do is look at Dylan Brown and say, how's he playing? He's playing pretty friggin' good.
Yeah, and that's it. He was sensational in that final yesterday. And off the back, we know that he's pretty close to the best defensive half in the competition, which people just overlook because defence isn't sexy, especially as a half where you're not putting shots on. It's all about what you do in attack. But off the back of his running game, the amount of times he busted the line and was like an ankle tap or a short grab, whatever it was, away from more clean line breaks, he was sensational. And I hope, I don't know what he's like as a bloke. He seems relatively quiet and reserved, but is a brilliant competitive athlete. And I hope there's just been this beast unleashed in the last 6 months off the back of signing this deal, and people saying he's not worth the money, he can't play 7, he's not good enough. He was dropped by Jason Riles at the Eels, not due to form or any of that, but because they were looking to 2026. That just says, no, I'm going to prove everyone wrong. And what we saw across this series has been that he's gone, no, whether I'm worth this money or not, I'm a bloody good footballer. And I've now on numerous occasions taken New Zealand to titles and pretty convincingly as well. He was sensational this series. And look, it's a $1.3 million deal for 10 years at Newcastle, and whether that's at 6 or 7, time will tell. But
I think, apologies, because I think I knew his Knights fan picked me up on this. It's 8 years with 2 years in the club's favour, I think. But not that changes that much, but sorry.
But that's the thing. It's people saying he's not worth 1.3 million. Maybe he's not over the longevity of it, but he is worth $1 million. He's a bloody good footballer, and whether he doesn't hit the heights expected of what that figure has been thrown out, I don't know. But we saw Dylan Brown his best in recent weeks, and particularly in the final yesterday, and it's exciting, so exciting for Newcastle fans. And as I said, I just hope there's been this beast awoken in Dylan Brown saying, screw you all, I'm going to come out and justify this figure.
Yeah, and I think that, he's 25, so maybe it is just a maturing thing. I remember back to when I was 25, I thought I knew everything, but then you're 28 or you're 29, you're like, geez, I know so much more. So maybe he does get a bit more mature. Mate, what do you thought of Dylan Brown's performance, mate?
Unbelievable over the course of the 3 games. And, it just goes to show the value of playing off the back of an amazing forward pack. I know that'll be a bit of a different kettle of fish for him at the Knights. However, you still got to, get out there and do the damn thing. And his running game really came to the fore through the series, which was great. Again, I think number 6 is still his spot.
Yeah.
He's probably going to have to go and play number 7. However, he's been fantastic through the series. Just going back to the stuff that makes him really good, keeping it simple, just kind of running the footy and linking up with, some impressive, outside backs around him as well. But, mate, he's been unbelievable, and he's definitely got to be in the picture for the Golden Boot. I think he'd be
Locked in, you reckon?
Yeah, he's definitely my pick.
Surely.
Right.
Him and Tarpon maybe? Who else you got?
I don't know, maybe Walshy.
Well, Munster won man of the series.
I saw that, but I was just like, bigger picture-wise as well. Like, is Walshy kind of, I don't know exactly what the criteria are and how they might be different, or if the judges are different from the man of the series kind of thing. But it's been like Walshy mania over there, really, even though we haven't.
Munster was better than Walsh, and Brown was better than both of them.
You reckon?
Yes.
Yeah, I honestly don't even think it's a conversation. Like, I reckon that Ashes series was, respectfully, is really poor.
Yeah.
Walsh did
Really poor.
very little in game 2. He'd done very little in game 3.
I thought it was actually, outside of a couple of good defensive things, I thought it was pretty poor in game 2.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Game 3, he lit up
Last
once the
10.
game was basically done. Like, he's not the Golden Boot, or he shouldn't be, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't think any Aussie can be the Golden Boot,
No.
to be honest.
Yeah, look at the quality of opposition, respectfully, that they're up against compared to Tonga and Samoa.
Yeah. However, like in regards to the mania, you're right. Like, it was mania over there. Like, it absolutely was. And he had these crazy highlights for sure. And if the argument you want to have is like he wasn't used correctly in those second and third games, I'm willing to actually have that argument. I do think there's a lot of conversations we need to be having about the Australian spine. But yeah, I just reckon Dylan Brown has been so good. Every game he's been essentially the best player on the field.
Yeah,
I was
reading Sean Johnson's book at the moment, Perspective.
Perspective,
which is good.
Yep.
But I've just got to the end of the part where he reckons winning the Golden Boot was really challenging for him, because then he was kind of always held to this standard of, like, if he had a slightly subpar game, it's like, he didn't deserve it, all this. Like, it kind of, will follow him around a bit. He's already kind of got the big price tag with him as well. Will it be a good thing for Dylan Brown to have it, or will it add a bit more pressure to him,
True.
particularly going to the Knights?
I do think with the Sean Johnson one, if I recall, there was like controversy around him getting it or something like that, where people weren't actually aware that it's the best player in international footy. It's not the best player in the world, whereas it used to be the best player in the
just
world.
changed, I think, before he
Yeah.
got it.
And so a lot of people weren't aware that, mate, it was just from the last 4 games.
When was that change, roughly? Do we know?
Yeah, it was about 2015, round about that time.
Yeah.
I remember it was 2020, because of COVID, very few international games were played. And we had one of the Netherlands players who was nominated for the Golden Boot purely because he was man of the match in like the one game that happened.
Nah.
So the list was sick. It was all these NRL guys.
The Golden
and then-
Clog.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's great stuff. So he's our Hungriest player, Dylan Brown. Use code Dylan, DYLAN, for free delivery this week. We already used Brown last week, so this will come with that. Now, local shout-out goes to Carnation Thai in Wollongong. You can't get better than their crispy pork belly. Ooh, it's making me hungry. Massive thank you as always to Menulog for supporting the show. The Kiwis, they defeat Samoa 36-14. And look, as your favourite Pakeha, as your favourite Kia ora, my Kiwi brothers, I supported you all the way. I'm pretty sure I backed the Kiwis every single game. Listen, alleged favourite Pakeha, because I'm not sure if I'm actually that. But Kia ora, my brothers and sisters. Incredible win. I think that in the first half, the big takeaway for me was New Zealand were getting caught up in Samoa's style of footy. Like, there was passion, it was loud, it was end-to-end, it was offloads, it was the craziest thing. And I'm just sitting there going, New Zealand just need to take a breath, because they'd make line breaks and they'd be throwing offloads out at their backside. They just needed to take a breath, take the crowd out of the game, build some pressure, and fatigue these big Samoan forwards. Then what happened in the second half? They come out and they did exactly that. Very clinical, extremely good second half by New Zealand. I think Samoa will be pretty disappointed with that second half. However, I can't be too negative on them. I thought they were outstanding in the first half. Bloody good game to watch. I spoke about it on my Instagram, but I got to be honest, watching that and watching the Ashes, like, I was jealous as an Australian. Like, I wish that, and I know we got it with, Australia versus Tonga or whatever, and I understand we're trying to keep the game alive over there. I get all that. But that was amazing yesterday. Like, that was absolutely outstanding. A lot of the time when you're watching footy, especially when you watch as much as we do, you might have something, your phone on the side, or you're watching, but then you might be looking at other things. I was glued to the TV for essentially 70 minutes of that game. Once the game was gone, obviously you'll start whatever. For essentially 70 minutes of that game, I wasn't looking at anything else. Then obviously the last 10 minutes, I was still watching, but you got other things that you might just pull your phone out or whatever. It was absolutely incredible. Leaguie, what do you reckon, mate?
Well, that stuff you said at the start about your allegiances to New Zealand, OGs, I remember you won Dally M Palangi of the Year only a couple of years ago, so you're playing both sides a little bit.
Listen, I'm a multicultural person, and I understand the push and pull of having heritage in other areas, or at least what would the word be? Gifted heritage per se. And so listen, I said the other week, a lot of my Usos got angry at me last week because I picked the Kiwis to win, and I said I could never lie to my Usos. Even if my Kefair card gets revoked, I'll never lie to my Usos. That's love. Listen, if you want a Palangi that's going to lie to you, I'm not your man. I'm not your man. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you how it is. And Kiwis, if you want a Pakeha that's going to like back yous in, that's me. That's me. So kia ora, my brothers and sisters.
I'll tell you what, there was certainly a lot of love out there yesterday. I was at the game. I've experienced some pretty amazing things in sport. I've been to San Siro, AC Milan. I've been to Stamford Bridge with Chelsea. This was a top 3 atmosphere I've ever experienced comfortably. The flags everywhere was insane. Just the volume. Literally, anytime Samoa did anything remotely good, it was just screaming. Brilliant atmosphere, and I think it makes sense that Samoa started the game with a lot of energy and a lot of intensity, wanting to get revenge from game 1, but also wanting to reward their fans that came out. But you are right in saying the quality of New Zealand sort of did shine through in the end. Samoa only had 39% of the ball across the game, so New Zealand really starved them once they got themselves going. So it was interesting to see. And that's the thing that I think, we spoke about it on Friday, me and Matty, about the in-sync nature of this New Zealand side. Like, they are in sync. They've got these 2 front rowers that know each other inside out. They got Tarpin that's been with them for quite a while now. They got some of the most in-form benches in the competition. I thought the bench was like truly the difference. Like, once that, like, Fish and Leota took all the heavy stuff from Samoa, the energise everything. Once they came on, Clark and White, we'll get to them, but wow. But Timmy, what do you think of the game, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I'd mentioned at the top of the show, I got to tick off a bucket list item for me in going to an EPL game, and not just that, but going to a Liverpool game at Anfield and experience the singing, the chants, everything they had, the atmosphere there, and like, it just somehow managed to exceed expectation. Like, as Australian sports fans, you're always a bit envious of the way they do it in Europe and even America to a degree, with a lot of the way they celebrate sport over there on the live or in the live arena. And coming back from that, I just went, oh God, imagine if we had this in our sporting arena week in, week out, and this atmosphere and this entertainment. But like, watching that game yesterday, the Kiwis and Samoa, like the singing, the chanting, all those things that were experienced overseas, I'm like, we can do this. Like, we've got it. We've got the people. We've got the support. We've got the passion. Obviously, this is on an international level, but it's there. Like, it was one of the spectacle yesterday was sensational. Yeah,
and like, just essentially, it was sold out actually. Seeing all the flags. The flags is what like makes it for me. Just when you see like a shot of them, a try getting scored, and there's just like all these Samoan flags. It's just so freaking cool. So cool. Hammy, what do you think of the game, mate?
Yeah, well, I mean, when we got to half time, Samoa, slightly ahead. And there was, some of the commentators on 9 heading into it, like, this is like, I think Gus Gould said this might be the best international game I've seen. It's just going to be a case of, can both teams keep it going? And obviously the Kiwis had a little bit more depth on the bench, some more quality to kind of probably come on and see them through, or that performed a little bit better. But there was certainly so much feeling in it for the first half of the game. It's a really kind of tight arm wrestle. But just the quality of the Kiwis, I think it's probably fair. I think we're probably all in agreement. And the great Roo even threw it on his channels over there from the UK. Huru.
Who the gurus?
Yeah. But the Kiwis are probably the benchmark team in the world at the moment.
Yeah, 100% in regards to form, yeah.
And that's it. Like, when you look at, you mentioned Leaguie, like the 61% possession from New Zealand, and Samoa dug in, led at half time. Yeah, it's easy to say, they fell away, but like, it was a hot day for this clash, and the world class sides are probably the best side in the world at the moment, New Zealand. It's hard to argue. They didn't give in at the end. They ran out of steam. And like, when they've got 61% of possession, they were completing at 86% of possession. Like, they dug in for as long as they could. But when you're giving up that much ball to the New Zealand outfit, when you add in, like you mentioned, the punch of Clark and Nafahu White off the bench, they were just relentless. There was no reprieve the entire game. So, yes, it got away from them late, but scoreline, not necessarily reflective of the true...
I will say I do have some big questions in regards to the coaching decisions of Samoa, but we'll get to that. So that's a bit of a hook and tease, guys. Stay tuned. But let's talk about... we'll talk about the Kiwis and then we'll get into Samoa. there's dogs, and then there's fucking dogs. And this New Zealand forward pack are fucking dogs. Jesus Christ. Like, if you're in a trench, you want this New Zealand forward pack. They love that shit. They absolutely, like, think about the physical, like, they had to go toe-to-toe with the size and power of this Samoan side. But then they came out and were clinical in the second half. Like, so, like, that's two parts of rugby league. There's the physical, battle of, like, you're not going to stand over me, we're going to stand over you. They go toe-to-toe with them, and it's pretty much a 50-50 battle. But then to have that kind of toughness, but also the mental toughness to essentially complete 20 from 20 in the second half, like, these guys, this forward pack, I reckon they go toe-to-toe with any forward pack that's ever played the game. I really do. Like, I think this forward pack right now, in the sync they're in the form they're in, I reckon you can put them up there with the great forward packs that have played before. And granted, they haven't played Australia. I get that. But just actually watching the standard of rugby league, I mean, they have played Australia. They beat them 30-0 a couple of years ago. Granted, I know that Australia ended up winning the World Cup. But I just think this forward pack, in its current form, now look, will Clark go down as a goat or White or whatever? I mean, they've got some footy left in them. But, like, in regards to form, the style of play, the in-sync nature, I think they could go toe-to-toe with any international forward pack I've seen.
Well, literally, okay, Fish and Leota, that's a 4-time premiership winning combination. You've got Tapani at lock, who Timmy can, wax lyrical about him and his leadership qualities.
He'll make an all-time Raiders side, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's almost like as good as you could get in the current game. So definitely it stands up, I think, against other ones. You then have the back row, Nikora and Papali'i, both very, very good on form. And as you say, the punch off the bench.
Well, Papali'i, Dally M.
Yeah.
Nikora probably should have won a Dally M at some point.
But, like, I talk about Aaron Clark.
Was in the position.
I talk about Aaron Clark as sort of my favourite archetype of player. I love a little ball playing forward, and he just does it so well. The physicality he gets through. Then you've got Nafahu White, who...
Oh, bro.
Bro, as a Roosters fan, I am sitting back loving this. 23 years old. That's all he is. I've said before, like, when Jared Warrior-Hargreaves left us, Lindsay Collins was the man who had been, like, basically groomed to take that role, right? That was the plan. It's been Nafahu White. 100%.
White is your new main. It's hard to say with Spencer because Spencer's so unique, Spencer. But I think White's your new main man.
I agree. I think Spencer does his thing, but, like, White is the leader.
I think he's the anchor of your forward pack now. Lindsay Collins still great, does his job, but I just think with the talent White has, the power through his hips, that bulldozing of RTS was like, listen, I know it wasn't as crazy because it was an international game or whatever, but I think you guys know what I'm alluding to. Like, it was John Aloma like. It was. And I'm not putting him up in the same category as him, but to do that against RTS, I don't think people realize how big RTS is. He's a big boy. He'd be like 96, 97 kilos. Like, mate, if he does against a smaller fullback in the NRL, you go, yeah, they're small or whatever. RTS is a big boy. RTS bumps forwards. White steamrolled him, and it took... The only person on the freaking field that could have tackled him was Payne Haas. And what about Payne Haas trailing as he always does? Just incredible.
Yeah. This is a front rower who has played 2 seasons of first grade, two full seasons. He has so much improvement left in him. It's so exciting.
Timmy, am I getting too excited with this forward pack?
No, it's incredible. But, like, as you said, we knew, like, their middles in particular. Like, Isaiah Papali'i, who's getting back to that, what was it, 2022 form, 21 form, whatever it was, when he won the Dally M back rows of the year. But... like, him and Britton Nikora, very good footballers, but it's their middles. But, like I said, we know what Tarpany, Fish, Harris, Theodore, we know what they can offer. They can absolutely go toe-to-toe with the greatest packs that have ever played the game. But, and as we look forward to the next World Cup, it's the emergence of Nafahu White and Aaron Clark. They changed the game here. Like, they were down, and Samoa were arguably winning that battle through the middle in that first 15, 20 minutes. They came on about the 22nd and 24th minute, respectively. And at that stage... Samoa were winning the game. They looked bloody good. They came on and were just destructive. Like, the try of Nafahu White, I think he did, like, the in and away while the ball was in the air on Jerome Luai. To have footwork for a bloke of that size with that power, those two coming off the bench, like, as I said before, you don't get a reprieve from the pack because of how good these two have come along. Like, at the start of the year, if you said those two are coming off the bench, you'd be like, all right, bit of a weaker bench, need to make the moves early with their starting pack, but with those two coming on, they got better.
Mate, you're right. And what I love is that it was almost like a passing, like, of the job to a degree. So just before they come on, Samoa kicked down, Payne Haas kicks chase, and he, with maybe Sasangi or Molo, he drags a Kiwi back like 10 metres. They have the full set. I think Chance gets caught. They put a bomb up. They tackle RTS in the corner. Murray Talangi tries to take a scoot. Fisher Harris just absolutely shoots out of the line. He jams Talangi. Leota comes over the top, smashes him as well. That actually was what injured Talangi's knee. And obviously it wasn't, they didn't intentionally do it. It's just because it was such a big hit. Then essentially a set or two later, they came on the field and just, they upped the ruck speed. Like Aaron Clark, when he came on, just the ruck speed went from pretty good to great. And White, obviously, with his line breaks, and he's power through his hips. And just that four, like you got the Bash Bros, and then you got the bench Bash Bros. It's just
The Baja men.
the Baja Bros. Apologies. The Baja Bros, and then they've been anointed the Bash Bros, Clark and White. It's just that 1-2 punch in regards to bringing them off the bench, just absolutely outstanding. And you're right, that first 15, 20 minutes, like Samoa were physically winning the battle. Like they were, and Leota and Fish were doing what they do best, which is like stay in the grind, and then eventually do something big to swim momentum. And so, when White and that came on, they were just absolutely phenomenal. I personally think, as I said, like maybe you could find forward packs with, on paper, better names than that across the board, like, edge all the way through the middle. But just in regards to in-sync nature of the way they play and also names, I reckon they go toe-to-toe with any forward pack. I really, really do. What do you reckon, Hammy? Is this Pakeha getting out of his depth?
No. I think you're spot on. We spoke about him a little bit last week about how just well-rounded they are. There's really no kind of gaps or like that. They just sort of all complement each other really well. The three middles that kind of kick it off, set the tone. Like there's just nowhere to hide really. And then these guys just coming off the bench and doing their role so well. And they've got a good mix of ages as well. Like they're not all too old or too like. They're just really well rounded out at the moment. So I think you can put a great case together to say that they're one of the better packs.
Well, looking forward to the World Cup as well. We'll see what happens with the number 9s, but you can potentially add a Brandon Smith back in there as well, like the power through the middle. Because Hughes, it's like without digressing getting away from the game too much. I spoke to so many people about it overseas, and obviously around England, about the rugby league and how the international game is going and where it's headed. Like, growing up, rugby union always had, and we thought always would have the international game on us. And look, realistically, it probably will, at least for a very long time. However, people sit there and, you spoke earlier on about how people are like, I heard people saying, they wanted to see England win a game or the series, whatever it might be. And like, it made me sick to my stomach, but I'm like, I get it because you get to World Cups and you get to these series and it lacks interest because Australia are going to win and they always probably should. But like there is a world where, look, maybe not the 2026 World Cup, but maybe by the 2030 World Cup, Australia could be going into it as fourth favourites because of all these defections, like Payne Haas in particular, to Samoa. The Pacific nations are getting so strong that we're going to get to, I think, definitely the 2030 World Cup where Australia could get knocked out in the semi-final of the World Cup next year to any of these sides. And there's a massive chance that they do. Which means then going into 2030 World Cup, you've got 4 genuine live chances to win it. Then you throw in if England can get their shit together. But the game internationally is in such a good place because of circling back to what Taumalolo and Fafita did with Tonga years ago. Like, it is so exciting that by the 2030 World Cup minimum, we're going to be going as Australians. We're not going to go and walk in this World Cup. And I know New Zealand beats a few years ago, but still, it's just in such a good place.
Well, when you look at it, like this Kiwi side with Hughes in it, and now Kinney's, I wouldn't say resurgence. Well, just not appearance either because he did it last year, but just his incredible form again in a Kiwis jersey. All of a sudden, really the only spine member that we are out and out better, like as in by a margin, probably 9 to a degree. So, like, because Brandon Smith is more of a /9.
Well, they got Jeremy Marshall-King as well, but still.
But outside of that, like Dylan Brown, like I'm picking Munster, but I know Brown can go toe to toe with Munster for sure. Hughes versus Cleary, we know they can go toe to toe. Hughes is a Dally M winner. I know Cleary's resume is better, but individually they can go toe to. If anything, you could argue individually Hughes on the international scale has had some more impact. Then you've got Kinney versus Walsh, which is insane. Like that's actually insane. So that's what's scary is like we've never really gone into a World Cup where our spine is even close to being challenged. And I think that's probably the last step that Samoa and Tonga have is their spine to get on that top tier.
And I think that's what I'm sort of a bit reserved in saying 2026 is probably a little bit of a rush. They can both beat us in 2026, don't get me wrong. But I think by 2030, we know where Isaiah Katoa will be by that point. But there'll be more spine players and young Polynesian spine players coming through that That would be unbelievable. By 2030, again, we could genuinely be fourth favourites to win the World Cup, which is so good for our game.
I just want to quickly talk about Tarpany. Mate, this guy is just unbelievable. And I know we speak about Leota and Fish too, because like they've won 4 premierships, but like every time he has the opportunity to go against a forward pack where you go, okay, this is the time where the forward pack is just going to be as good as Tarpany, or at least be able to go head to head with a guy like Tarpany because he's top tier. He usually wins that battle. Usually. Not every single time, but against this Samoan pack, going into this game, the yarn was essentially these 2 forward packs are essentially the same. But Tarpany, once again, just stepping up, having an incredible game, bunch of offloads. There was only one silly offload that he threw the whole time. He is something special, Tarpany. He really is. And we always talked about, oh man, it'd be devastating if Payne Haas never won a premiership. And I still have Haas in his own kind of league. But I'm getting there with Tarpany in regards to it would be devastating to not give him a premiership. Like that's the level that he's been playing at for quite a while now. And I know that there's plenty of forwards out there that don't win premierships. But geez, like Tarpany he goes toe to toe with anyone, anytime. Tarpany will go toe to toe.
And you mentioned his offload there. I've said it for years, but Ricky, lean into it. Like in the back end of that game when they got away from, I thought it was Joe Tarpany, along with obviously the impact of White and Clark, but Joe Tarpany's offload, when they were struggling sort of making inroads at stages, the second phase play that was produced off the back of his offload in that second half, that created everything for the Kiwis.
This is how fast, like, because the play the ball was essentially the same. I'd love to see the second half play the balls though. I'd love to see the difference in average speed, because I reckon you'd find that the second half play the balls for the Kiwis was faster than the Samoans. But yeah, the play the ball speed was essentially the same. But this is how rampaging their forwards were. They had 240 more post-contact meters, New Zealand. I said then Samoa.
To what NRL.com need to do, they need to bring in a filter where you can put it to any minute of the game that you want. And it has the stats. How cool would that be?
Yeah. Because like play the ball speed, 3.43 for Samoa, 3.5 for New Zealand, which is essentially the same. But it just showed you how powerful they were through the middle. Average set distance, only 4 meters more, but just those post-contact meters, just that leg drive through the middle, that speed through the middle, and that second half, just the clinical nature of what they did. But yeah, Tarpany, incredible.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the stats. Samoa had 61 missed tackles to New Zealand's 42. Yeah. So these are players just falling off tackles, allowing the New Zealand forwards to go straight through the middle, rampage, and creating momentum. We know how important that is in this game, and that contributed to what was a 30-0 second half. Kiwis just kept scoring, getting the ball back, going again. So very impressive.
Well, 35 ineffective tackles compared to only 18 from the Kiwis. Again, which just shows you, if you said to me, what's one area where the Samoan forward pack will definitely win the battle, I probably would have said tackle breaks and post-contact meters because they're so big and powerful, or at the very least, like, they'd be super, super close. Probably say they'd be super close. To see the Kiwis dominate this much, that's just building pressure, building fatigue, and obviously speed through the ruck the way they did. So who not in this forward pack played well? Like, Nikora. Far out. Like, he was outstanding. Like, yeah, okay, there was a couple of times where he probably should have held the ball, but how many bloody line breaks did he have? Then you got the other side, Papali'i.
He's the definition, Britton Nikora, of quality over quantity. Yeah. He's never been a big, meter-eating back rower, but everything he does is quality.
Yeah, seriously.
He's so quick.
And, he looks like a centre sometimes.
He does.
I remember, it's great, when I had the podcast before, it might have been in the podcast or before it. I was like, oh man, I've just been such a big fan of, you're a big hitter. And he's like, oh really? And I was like, yeah. And he was surprised that, he didn't know that he was a big hitter. I'm just like, he might be the most humble, unassuming back row in the comp, but never gets the raps he probably deserves.
Not that you'd ever move him, but he would seamlessly shift to centre.
I reckon. I really reckon. Yeah. He's just got really silky ball. He'd hit like a truck with the fullbacks out the back. But I thought he was great. Papali'i's another guy. Geez, hasn't he found form? Since Penrith moved him in the middle, obviously he played on the edge here, but, mate, he was in everything. He was in everything.
It was funny when he first signed with Penrith. I thought, okay, here we go. Panthers are going to get the best out of this guy again. It didn't start the best, but as you say, this move to the middle, he was able to get involved with everything. He's a little bit of a smaller body among those bigger men. Particularly good, and it is great to see sort of a callback to a guy who has produced very good form at the NRL level. Yep. Very high quality back row. It's good to see his best again.
And you see, with a lot of these players that go to the Penrith Panthers, it takes time. because you hear so many stories of players going there. Luke Garner's
a little bit like the Storm, to be honest.
Yeah, Luke Garner's one that comes to mind. That when he went there from the Tigers, I thought he was going to be a well beater, but there was a point where he was dropped and he wasn't getting minutes, all these sorts of things, and they all just sort of say you get there and the relentlessness of their pre-seasons, and Ivan just has these standards of fitness that if you don't hit them, you don't play, sort of thing. And it took Papali'i a fair while to get back to what we knew he was capable of, and by the end of the year, he was doing that, and he's carried it into this series.
It's so good. And look, we've just spoken about the forwards. Essentially, every forward killed it. So here's the stats of White, and then I'll do the stats of Clark. So for White, in 46 minutes, he had a try, 20 runs for 200 metres, 72 post-contact, 7 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, 13 tackles, only 1 miss, no errors. That was in 46 minutes. Aaron Clark, in 35 minutes, a try assist, 105 metres, 37 post-contact, 5 tackle breaks, a line break, 2 line break assists, 15 tackles, only 1 miss. Bro, what's crazy is, when do we ever sit here and take this long to talk about the big plays from the forwards? Every single one of them had a match-defining play that if just one of the forwards did that, you'd be like, wow, a forward did that. There have been match-defining plays from every forward. Usually we're talking about the outside backs right now. Kinney, we're talking about Chance, who I thought was outstanding. We're talking about you know what I mean? Like, usually it's the halves and the backs that you talk about because that's the exciting stuff. In this Kiwi side, like, we're talking about the forwards more. That's how good they are.
No, and credit to Stacey Jones as coach for getting all of these guys in tune to play together this way. I mean, when we talk about coaches, he doesn't necessarily get much of a mention. If an NRL job comes open, he's not one of the guys that's in contention. But he's done a very, very good job across multiple games in this series against quality opposition to get them going.
The Kayo Can't Miss moment is White and Clark, and just as a New Zealand forward pack, you know, we've just rattled off a bunch of exciting, match-defining plays that each forward did. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So, proudly brought to you by Kayo. Massive thank you as always to Kayo. Cricket's greatest rivalry is just about to begin. The Ashes start November 21, and you can watch every ball live in 4K with no ad breaks in play on Kayo Sports. Only 7 drivers remain in the fight for Supercars Championship glory. Next stop, the legendary Sandown 500. Where every lap could make or break your championship run. Watch Penrite Oil. Is that how you say it? Penrite?
Yep.
Penrite Oil. It always reminds me of Penrith.
Yep.
Penrite Oil Sandown 500 live this weekend, only on Fox Sports, available on Kayo. And we're just past the midway point of the NFL season. Teams are starting to make their playoff push. The MotoGP season comes to a thrilling close in Valencia. And you can watch that all on Kayo. As always, a massive thank you to Kayo for supporting the platform. Without guys like people like Kayo and companies like Kayo, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. Okay, let's talk about the backs. I mean, let's talk about Kinney. This guy is the definition of electric. And for what he lacks in, ball playing or whatever, his ball running. Look, I'm not going to put him in Tedesco's area yet because he's done it for so many years. But my God, is his ball running unbelievable.
Yeah, I think I might get violent if you put him in Tedesco's areas at this stage.
What I mean is in regards to how good Tedesco's running game is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at his stats. 219 run meters, a line break assist, no errors. I noted down during the game, this is getting to club footy, but if I'm Josh Hannay coming in, the first thing I'm doing is telling Keeney, you are the fullback. That is your spot. They don't afford at the Titans to have the luxury of playing this guy on the wing or at 14. Stick him there. That's your game plan. He is so good. I mean, he's 21 years old. He could hold that jersey for well over another decade. So
If there was a question mark around the makeup of the spine next year in the number 1, it's like that's put to bed. The way he came back.
Yeah, and this is shout out to my mum. This is a Debbie Downer. I'm being a little bit of a Debbie Downer here, but I want to be clear. This is just because I think this guy can be a top tier fullback, genuinely rivaling Reece Walsh. The only thing that Hannah's going to have to balance is that when he gets in good ball, his priority needs to be what is my role in the play here, not I need to do something great. Because I think sometimes, because he does it so much coming out of trouble and it works really well for him, he won't be thinking pass first, he'll be thinking step back inside step. To be honest, it's a little bit of the problem Teddy ran into for a while there, where because he had to put everything on his back, his mindset was purely like, I need to save everything. And I reckon with Kinney, that's going to be the hardest balance for him. He's like, yeah, we do need you to save everything because you're so good. But just that, sometimes you just need to play your role. You just need to tip it on, let someone else. Whereas sometimes when you're a younger player, because you've been the man growing up forever, every time you got the ball, your thought process is, okay, I need to make the big play. Whether it's me breaking the line or the big pass, Whereas when you get in the NRL, sometimes it's like you just need to play your role, just boom, boom. And so look, he's 21, no player's perfect. That's the only little thing I think that is going to be his hardest balance. In my opinion.
I agree completely. The only thing is with him, like, he's played 3 seasons of first grade, but been injured throughout a lot of that. He's only played 28 games.
Crazy.
So that will come with experience. We're talking about a guy like Tedesco still not understanding that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as you say with Keeney, like when he was coming through the grades, he would have been the man in everything. The game plan would have been give him the ball and he does his thing. So he'll learn it with maturity.
Yeah, absolutely, he'll learn it. Absolutely. But that's the only thing I looked at and I was like, there were a couple of times on the weekend where I reckon the same Kinney 3 or 4 years from now, it's similar to Reece Walsh. They went through, probably going to go through the same journey. If Kinney went and did this same play in 3 or 4 years' time, he just tips the ball on and steps up.
I think he'll be like close to a top 5 fullback in the NRL by the end of the 2026 season. All game plan stays fit. The ball playing is the key because he's running games, as good as there is out there.
It's a 10 out of 10, seriously.
It's a 10 out of 10, essentially, yeah. And if he gets the ball playing going, which even like before now, like the 2024 season where he did get a lot of games under his belt before the injury interrupted 2025, if he can get that ball playing going, it doesn't have to happen overnight, but like there's well where he's the number 1 fullback in the NRL. But there's a long way to go with his ball playing comparatively to your Reece Walsh, your Scott Drinkwater, your Tom Trbojevic, who are just elite, but he's got time on his side.
Plenty of time. And there's Walsh had to work on certain things. But the beauty about, working on the ball playing is that actually opens up your ball running. And what's ironic is what opened up Reece Walsh in this crazy run of form. It was his ball running because he started running first. In the first 20 minutes of the game, he would run hard back in line. And then by the end of the game, there's all these options for him. And so I think it'd be like the flip for Kinney. If they have to worry about the fact that he can throw a 20-metre cutout ball, more space is there for you to make that line break.
Right now, you're spot on, Kempy. He's running just about every time because that's his strength. And the confidence isn't there in his ball playing. And and you see in players when they start to get these 3-on-2s, even the 3-on-3, and you see Reece Walsh do it time and time again, they skin the 3-man, they just get it right every time. But Walsh is the exception, but when passes start to hit the deck or go over the sideline, they go into their shell and they just revert back to what they do, and that's running.
Yeah.
But as a few of these passes start to stick and he's putting blokes through short, he's throwing the cut ball, as you said, they won't know what he's doing. But right now, it's Keanu Kinney's going to run.
Yeah. And I know there's going to be people going, hang on a sec, here's all these videos of him passing for a try assist. Like, we're not saying he can't do that. He absolutely can already do that. But as a top tier fullback, can he get into that level of like, for example, when Reece Walsh had the ball 2 years ago, it was he's about to throw a cut-up ball. Like, that was the only thought.
You talking about him potentially being a top 5 fullback got me thinking, okay, who are the other guys who'd be sort of around hitting their prime same time as him? I'm imagining a future of you got Walsh, Hammer, Keeney, Kyle Weeks, Jai Gray, Suafalongo. These are the future of fullbacks. That is so exciting.
Green Buller says hello.
True, no, good point.
Fair.
But I picked those guys because they are all electric players.
Yeah.
It's interesting when we talk about sort of the best fullbacks in recent years, it's been Edwards, Tedesco, the more physical style. This is very much the opposite.
Yeah.
It's a more entertaining direction that the game is taking.
And just back on the Walshy thing, like everyone thought he was going to pass. As soon as you had to worry whether like right now, when Walshy gets the ball, no one knows what he's going to do. There's literally what is he going to do? And I reckon if Kinney can get in that space, he will be. I think he'll be challenging Walshy for form. Like I really think he's got that much talent in his. Now, granted, it's still a long way away because you could argue Walsh's ball playing is the best we've ever seen in a fullback. And I know people don't want to hear that, but I personally believe that that's the case. You could argue it's the best ball playing we've seen a fullback have. Like what fullback in history has had better ball playing than Walsh?
I think Billy Slater was better for now, and that is due to the lack of errors. Like when Billy threw passes...
I'm talking same age. Like Billy at his age now, Walsh at his age now, I reckon Walsh had better ball playing than Billy.
Oh, okay. What was he, 24 or something? Walsh?
Yeah.
At his age, yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
like...
You know what? I'd extend further. I reckon Walsh is still technically a better ball player. However, I'm with you in regards to Slater made better decisions.
Reece Walsh has 3 passes a game that hit the deck or go out or a fall, whatever. Billy Slater didn't do that. Like when he was calculated and he executed. If Billy Slater wanted to throw every pass he wanted to, he could have done similar. Like errors are important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to be really clear. I'm not saying Walsh is better than Slater. I'm talking about his technical ability for ball playing. Because like for me, maybe my judgment is clouded because I remember Billy Slater coming into the grade. He was essentially a winger. Like his ball playing was not there. He had to work really hard on it, which was a credit to him.
Most of them are like, and the game used to be that it was all about running fullbacks, and as Lockyer came through and Billy Slater developed, and the ball playing aspect evolved in fullbacks and changed the game. Like Tedesco had to learn the art of ball playing, and it took time. Like most of the fullbacks in our game do, and you don't just that'll change. Like if you're a fullback coming through the grades now, you can't rely on your ball running if you want to become an NRL quality fullback. You have to be like there are fullbacks now who they're ball runners, and Keanu Kinney's a good example of it, but. In 5 years' time, I think, if not now, you have to have the ball playing. It has to be of a high quality standard. Because ball running won't be enough. If all you've got is a strong ball running and a work ethic, you'll be shifted to the wing.
It shows you how good Billy Slater was. Like,
he's incredible.
Like the fact that we've just seen Walsh run on the form run, but there's still people go, I reckon Slater still made the right decisions here or there. Not that I don't think it would be unreasonable to say Walsh is better than Slater, but what I'm saying is like, you could argue ball playing was the weaker side of Billy Slater's game, but it was still so good that it challenges what their best strength is, kind of thing.
Yeah. Reece Walsh has the potential to be better than Billy Slater, but there's a bloody long way to go.
Yeah, it does. And then the question becomes like, does he have the does he have the personality to, or even the want really, to get rid of those errors? Because like there might be. I mean, I know in his form run, he actually didn't make that many errors. Like, that's what made it so friggin' crazy because he make the errors. But the question, I guess, is like, he's a gunslinger, whereas Slater was a mixture of everything. That's what made him one of the GOATs. So, yeah, anyway, Slater's still the king, obviously, guys. I mean, I've got, to be honest, and this is probably my bias, I still have Darren Lockyer as the greatest fullback of all time, but I understand why people have Slater there. For me, it goes like Lockyer just beneath him, Slater, and then everyone else after that. Hammy, thoughts, mate, on Kinney?
Yeah, unbelievable. Great to see that they kind of like did a bit of a rejig to make room for him to go to fullback this week as well. Casey McLean slipped out of the wing, chance to centre. I thought that worked nicely. To come back from the injury that he had this year and just like excel in Test footy at the back end of the year, probably would have been pretty easy for him to go, maybe I owe it to the Titans to not play or whatever, but. He came out and killed it, and he's been fantastic and, very exciting. And it probably, in putting himself forward and going so well, to your point, Leaguie and Timmy earlier, like, he's probably, sent the message to Hannah and stuff that it's sort of case closed.
Yeah, it's not a question
I'm your man now.
Yep.
So, he's been fantastic right through the series, but, moving back to fullback just really took his chance and, looked awesome.
Crazy he didn't make the bloody side round one of the Keys. I mean, it shows you how strong that side is.
Yep.
Matty, what are your thoughts on Kinney, mate? I got a mic? Okay, fair enough. What happened to the other one? Oh, that's it. It's not working.
No, it is, but there was a lot of luck issues, and that was the last of my.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So Kinney, I'm just so excited. I really think the ceiling on his career is really whatever he wants it to be. And you don't say that about very many players. You really don't. That's how good this guy can be. In regards to some of these outside backs, man, I'm going to be honest. Like, I feel like sometimes with Chance, I'm watching a different game. Because I saw at halftime, like, people being negative about him. And I just feel like he's an easy target. I thought especially his defence, I thought he was outstanding on the weekend. And I think that since he's gone to centre, he has been outstanding for the Kiwis.
I feel like he's a constantly disrespected player. Like you sort of said about being an easy target, there is this sort of narrative and notion that maybe he's just sort of average. But I feel like he is so solid across multiple positions. As we say, he moved to centre to accommodate for Keanu Kinney. And God, I mean, he has achieved some very good things in his career. We talk about the 2019 grand final. Sorry to bring it up, Timmy. But if Raiders had won that game...
he's a Clive, 100%.
Yeah. So how different would his career be and the social perception of him be if he had done that? So, yeah.
Mate, I thought he was really good on some of the defensive plays that he made against some bloody good players. And then I just struggle. I don't know why he's such an easy target in this side. I think he's a bloody good player.
He's not flashy. Like he gets through his work, and so much of what he does is quality. But I feel like you're right, Kempy. He cops a bit of stick, and we all think he's underrated, but I don't think there'd be a teammate he's ever played without there.
No way.
Or more importantly, a head coach who's ever said he's overrated. He's always the first pick. Even at the Warriors when he's moved to centre, more often than not, and he's starved off, Tane Torpiki, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, all these wonderful options. When he moves to centre there, it's to accommodate, there's been injuries and they need to change blokes around, whatever it might be. He's a gun.
Yeah, I'm with you. Who stood out in the back line for you, mate, outside of Kinney?
Mate, the back line, they were all really solid. I thought, Timmy had a good series as well.
Except for that first try, that read. Oh, bro, as a Raiders fan, speak to me.
I think that's just...
It's going to be in him?
I know he's not old yet. He's got a long way to go, but I've almost just accepted that's it.
Because he'll make up for it. And it's
when he made that error in judgment defensively for, I think it was the opening try or the second try, I just went like we saw it all year. We've seen it for a few years, and I don't know if he can get out of his game. He'll improve, but
what's surprised? Look, I'm okay. Look, the decision. I can okay with him jamming in, but he didn't even stop. Even if you miss the tackle, but you stop him,
the read was right.
Yeah, he just
missed the tackle. It was
just strange.
The read was actually bang on.
Yeah, it was a great read. Yeah, he made the call that needed to be made that most people don't because they did the safe option.
The hard part was done.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. Yeah. And I look, it's one play. I'm with you, Hammy. I think he's been great for the Kiwis. Absolutely. He was great last week. And just so many strong carries. But yeah, just that. It's probably just the one part of his game he's just got to find a little bit of extra in to take that next step, I reckon.
Yeah. But through the series, I think he's been pretty good. Casey McLean to the wing. Don't see it too often, but did a good job. Eight tries now in 4 test matches, only 19 years old as well. We spoke about, that record, it's 41. I mean, if he hangs in there and plays another 10 years of footy, he's going to give that a real good shake. But so much potential in that guy to be able to just kind of fit in wherever,
And he is so strong.
Level.
He is so strong. Some of that, when he nearly steamrolled Tungo and a couple of the other boys to go for that try, we got a freak on our hands. He truly is. I think the next 10 years are going to be Herbie, Critter, and they're going to be McLean. I really do. That's how good he is.
How was seeing Kinney's kick returns and then McLean to take the second one. They just go bang, bang, bang. Oh,
and he'll only fill out from here.
Oh, man.
I do want to say, though, it is the second week in a row he's only scored 1 try. So I think
disappointing.
Could be finished, could be washed, shouldn't make the World Cup side next year.
Casey McLean washed already as a teenager.
Retire, bro. It's over.
It's over, bro. Stop being so cringe. Stop being cringe, bro. Yeah. Just drop yourself.
100%.
Okay. Look, I don't want to cry or anything like that, but seeing Foz go out like that.
Seeing him cry during the end. Oh, that's what rugby league's about. That's everything.
I don't even class it as crying. That's just testosterone coming out of his face. Seriously. That's not crying.
Is that medically safe?
Testosterone. Well, you got too much. He's got too much. He needs to get out of his body. Mate, I'm with you, mate. Seeing him in tears like that, and just a bloody good guy, but also one of the great. Look, yes, we have tough men in this game that play in the forwards, and in a punch on, you never want to be near him. But sometimes I admire more the little fella that's tough, and I know he's not that little. He's still relatively big. But when we talk about David versus Goliath kind of toughness. Mate, I challenge you. Foran's up there with the best of them. He really is.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of overrated, underrated players, he'll go down as one of the most underrated halves in the history of the game. And as you said, can be one of the good guys. It hasn't always been smooth sailing through his career. There's obviously a lot of injuries, at different stages, but, achieved a lot of success in the game. And again, people get caught up in stats. Kieran Foran is one of the OG in my mind, just direct line running halves that plays deep into the line, hits out the back. It's never necessarily that last pass that gets the try assist, but he's always creating it. And it's sort of paved the way, and don't get me wrong, Andrew Johns earlier and plenty of players have done it, but I think so many halves coming through in recent years would have, forged their game off the back of Kieran Foran. And Isaiah Katoa comes to mind now as potentially one of the best ball playing and dig into line halves we're going to see at the early stage of his career. It comes off what Kieran Foran's been able to do. Again, because he doesn't necessarily stat pad with try assist, he's doing all the hard yards, going into the line early and doing the tough stuff and getting whacked from behind, probably leading to a lot of these injuries. Yeah. He'll go down, in my opinion, as one of the more underrated halves to ever play the game.
See, it's really interesting, though, because you talk about him being as a line running player. He's fully reinvented himself, both on the field and off the field. You talk about this series for the Kiwis, and everyone will remember it for Dylan Brown. But there's a reason why Dylan Brown was allowed to do what he did. It was Kieran Foran. It was being put next to a proper game-managing half. I spoke earlier about Dylan Brown's average running meters of 159 across 3 games. For Kieran Foran, he averaged 27. So he literally just sat back, did the management, facilitated Dylan Brown doing his thing.
Hey, the old man's in a bloody wheelchair. He can barely run. He's so old.
He's still doing it at a high level, though, evidently.
Yeah, mate, no, you're right. So, and it is a really good example. I was actually going to bring something similar up, is what does everyone... Since he arrived to the Titans, what was Fafita's best year? when he got foreign inside him, straightened him up, started making him play more towards what they needed. Just one of the game's really, really good, man. Also, one of the game's most surprising Kiwis. Like, when I first saw him, I was like, that's the most Australian bloke I've ever seen in my life. And then I was like, oh, shit, he's a Kiwi. It's almost, it's like the flip of Hudson Young. I swear Hudson Young's a Pommy, and then he's Aussie. And, mate, thoughts on the great force?
Yeah, just a great fella. Good to see him go out a winner. Like, he's one of those people that doesn't matter which team you support, like, you just got respect for him. You know, he's been there doing it so long, doing the damn thing for ages. Obviously won a comp early with Manly, but one of the great guys of the game. Good to see him lead the team around and see how much it meant to him as well, prior to the game. So good on him.
See how much respect the boys have got from him as well.
That's right. He'll be such a good addition to the Manly coaching staff next year. Like, he'll make a big impact.
Mate, he said he called DCE and was like, "Is there any chance he can stay?" Pretty sure he said that in an interview.
Wow.
I'll have to check that. I'll have to check that. But I was like,
should have called him in March.
BC is accounted for. Thank you very much.
well, here we bloody go. A little foreign story just to top it off. His last professional game. So his brother Liam is a legend. He was at the Warriors when I was at the Warriors, and he's a good ball player. Anyway, so I think it was in like might have been mid-year or whatever, but he was always he's like, boys, if you ever go to Melbourne, go to this club. I think it was like called CQ or something like that. He's like
Collins and Queens there.
Is that what it's called?
Well, it's on the corner, CQ,
Yeah. And he's like, mate, you just say my name, sorted. And we used to give it to him like, bro, this guy, say your name? Yeah, all right, we'll say your name, bro. As it just obviously banter. Anyway, so all year we are just peppering Liam, like obviously just giving it to him. He's giving it back to us. We get to Melbourne. We play Melbourne in Melbourne, and we were going to go out together as a Warriors side. And we're like, you know what? Let's go to CQ. We'll just see what it's like. And one of the boys goes, let's just say his name. Just see what happens. Not like... Anyway, so we walk up to the door. And we're like, hey, we know Liam Foran. And they're like, oh, yep, sweet. Took care of us the whole night.
Yeah.
The whole night we were in like our own little area. Drinks are all sorted. So whatever connections he has in Melbourne, he was like... You know how big of a dog you got to be able to just say your name and the whole team gets taken care of? That's how much of a big dog he was. Because I think he was at the Melbourne Storm for a period there. So shout out Liam. Thanks for the free drinks, bro. And you were right.
That's what it's like for me walking into Mooseheads and saying, I know Timmy Williams.
Oh, okay. I'll kick you out.
Please leave immediately.
Yeah.
Jeez. Demons at that establishment. Thank you, mate.
Outside of that, like, look, but like, what is there to say? What an incredible performance. Another guy that I just thought, he won't be remembered for the series, like in regards to like highlights or whatever. But I thought Phoenix Crossan did his bloody job. Just got in there and ripped and teared. Like, especially last game, he was solid this game. I thought last game was really good. I thought he's another guy that just did. We talk about this forward pack and being so dominant. Well, like, who's giving them ball? Who's the one making all the tackles through the middle? So look, incredible game. Xavier Wilson also came on. He's another guy that flies under the radar. 30 minutes, essentially 100 metres in 30 minutes. Just beasts. Like, when you look at that bench, all of them, all together, they essentially averaged about 150 metres if you put them over the three of them. That's crazy off the bench. All three.
Here's a question for you. I mean, you're obviously a Bronco, but Leo Thompson, yet to come back into this side. When he's fit, and you have to pick between him and Wilson.
Wilson, easy. Yeah. Not easy in regards to like what their potential is. I do think Wilson has more potential, but not easy compared to like, I guess, age or whatever. But I just think that like Wilson's achieved way more. Like, he's already played for the Kiwis. He's done it. He's been one of the best forwards on the field in a grand final. He was incredible when he came back for the Broncos in the final series. Whereas Leo Thompson, he's got a lot of potential and he's had some good games tonight. And he was good, actually. He was really good the last time he played for the Kiwis. But outside of that, like, so was Wilson last week. Wilson was incredible. So I think Wilson's got that spot locked. What do you boys reckon?
I think Wilson. I think Leo Thompson also plays a similar role to me as like a Fish Harrison and Leota. He's not necessarily a massive meter reading, big minute forward sort of thing. That's covered in that side. I think Xavier Wilson brings better punch off the bench, and that's what the Kiwi side need. It'd almost be like, all right, if one of the starting front roles went down, bring in Leo and start him.
Fair.
But as a bench impact role, I think Wilson's the play.
And also, when I say easy, I'm just saying I am certain of the decision that I would have Wilson over. Not like that Leo Thompson I cannot wait to see him at the Dogs. I think in that system, going to be super interesting. I agree with you though, Timmy. I think that he's a bit more similar to Leota, really. Very Leota Fish kind of player, which is basically get on there for 20 to 40 minutes and just go absolutely ham with line speed and aggressive running and find your front. Whereas Wilson, he can have an offload, he can hit your overs line, he can play on an edge.
He'll bust a game open, which is what you want on a bench impact player.
Especially when you've already got White and Clark there, they'd come through the middle. What do you reckon? You got Wilson or Thompson on the bench?
Yeah, but well, just Wilson based on what he's done. Thompson, he'll be Dogs next year. Good opportunity to kind of, lead that pack around, see what he's got. But, given the CV and the fact that he's just been part of the team, he's an incumbent, pretty tough to drop him at the moment.
So that was all brought to you by Lontel, the best internet in the land, guys. On the weekend, had a great sesh. Just a great sesh. Just download a couple of games. Just seshed out, boys. You guys playing video games? You playing video games?
Heaps.
Which ones?
Way more than I like to admit. GTA 5, all over that.
Okay, are you like a role player on the
No, not quite that deep into it, but I've completed that entire game without dying, which took me about a year to do. So
what?
Yeah, that was.
What made you go? I'm going to complete this game without dying.
I'm the kind of person where if I have an idea and it's achievable, I will not be satisfied until I achieve it.
Wow.
So I kept.
Don't get any weird ideas, bro.
I don't have any weird ideas. Not on live mics anyway.
Okay. What other games do you play?
Bit of 2K, bit of FIFA. I've literally got a gaming YouTube channel. So I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2 now.
No way.
Yeah. Never played it before.
Want me to spoil the ending for you?
I know the key part of the ending.
Really? So do I.
It's part of pop culture.
It sucks. I'm so devo that it came out because I actually wanted to finish it, but that deterred me. I was halfway through the game. I was like, look, I know the journey means more than the ending, guys. I get it, but I probably should finish it one day. Anyway, I just don't. It's too clunky. The only thing I will say about Rockstar Games is their engine, and it's an incredible engine for open world games. It's the best in the business, really. But it's so clunky to control the player and like the shooting. Everything is so clunky.
Yeah.
Like you see all those memes with the guys like GTA characters and they're like... Anyway, brought to you by Lontel. I'm playing Ghost of Yotei. I'm trying to finish it, but I can't... Like, I'm similar to you in the sense of like, when I see a map that hasn't been cleared, I get like anxiety if I don't clear it. I need to clear it first. Even if I'm not enjoying myself, I'm like, fuck, I just got to get rid of that little fog in the map over in the corner there so I can go to the next section.
I'll send you a friend request on Steam. We can do something.
Oh, okay. Bloke in a bar. Okay. Might do some gaming. GTA 6 been delayed recently. Did you cry over that?
So much. That's devastating.
That is going to stop the world.
Yep.
How much do you reckon that's going to make in the first month? I reckon... I'm going to say like 5 billion.
It'll be almost as big a cultural event as when Payne Haas chose to go to Samoa. Like, I think nearly at that level. Close, not quite there, but nearly.
I like how you brought the audience.
R360.
Yeah. Well, listen. Just because you're kicking directors out of board meetings.
Mobsy said.
Mate, just because your board meetings can't get along and they're kicking each other out in their band.
Today's a big story, Mobsy. Payne Haas at 360.
Oh, here in Buller's gone. I think the doggies.
Nah, not happening. Staying.
Also, Luai, why won't you get rid of those fucking clauses? What's going on with that?
Oh, it's after his family, mate.
Did someone say Lachlan Galvin, by the way?
He said the old word.
What word?
Lachlan.
I said nothing of the sort. That's a false accusation.
No, I'm just saying Kobe Hetherington left, Payne Haas, can't get out of there quick enough.
Kobe Hetherington.
Guru goes for a month and it's civil war on the podcast
now. That's great stuff. Well, Guru would probably put shit on all of us, but he's too weak to have a team. He's an absolute coward, Guru, honestly. How he got let in the door, I'll never know.
I'm still hoping to go on his podcast. I'm not saying it.
Okay, let's get to Samoa. All right, it's time for Samoa. Look, incredible first half. I thought they were absolutely phenomenal. To be honest, I think, look, it wasn't just this, but one of the biggest mistakes I think they made, and I said this actually on Friday. So you look at Payne Haas and you go, okay, yes, on the surface, having Payne Haas on for 80 minutes, most of us, if we didn't care about, his longevity or whatever, we'd have him on 80 minutes every single week. However, I just think that New Zealand were aware that a gassed Payne Haas is way less scary than a Payne Haas that's got gas in the tank. And I just think on the weekend, we saw New Zealand identify that, say, listen, we just need to complete at a high rate. We know Samoa are probably going to be too worried to take him off the field. We're going to keep him on for 80 minutes. He's only human. Like, he is Payne Haas. He's essentially the GOAT front rower, but he is also human. And I just think that, yes, as a coach, the tendency, it's what I admire so much about Michael Maguire. Essentially, the entire year, He didn't play him 80 minutes until the one time he needed him to against Penrith Panthers. Now, granted, you could say, well, this is the one time Samoa needed him to, but I think he also played 80 minutes in the first game as well. Not in the second game, they rested him, but I just think that New Zealand, their forward pack, it's too ruthless to really go, if they completed a high percent, to go 80 minutes at, especially when you've got Terrell May on the bench only playing 20. I just think that the Samoan coach fell into the trap that the Kiwis wanted. They wanted Payne on there because, like, New Zealand have more chance of handling Payne if he's on for 80 minutes than they do if he's on for 50 minutes. Because if he's on for 50 minutes, no one can handle him, literally. And I think they fell into that trap, Samoa, of going, we need our best guy out there all the time. But Terrell May is like a Dally M level front row right now. Like, why not bring him on for 30 minutes or 40 minutes and give Payne a little bit of a break? Because he missed 4 tackles. He missed 4 tackles on the weekend. This is his stats from the weekend. 4 tackles he missed on the weekend. I think he made 46 or 7 tackles. He missed 4. This is his stats for the entire season. He only missed 13 tackles the entire season. Matter of fact, from round 14 to round 27, he only missed 3 tackles. It showed you how gassed he was that he missed 4 tackles on the weekend. And I know that sounds crazy to be talking about it because it's like, bro, 4 tackles out of 46, like that's a normal thing. I'm talking about essentially the GOAT here. And I just think that Samoa fell into the trap, and Kiwis were well aware that the Samoans are going to be super passionate coming out. Just hang in. We'll gas him with a high completion rate in the second half. And I think they did that. They really did. And granted, it's not around one man. You've got other guys that played as well, but he is their main man. And so that's a battle I think the Samoan coach lost, in my opinion, in the decisions.
Yeah, see, I'd understand it more if it was, say, a Tonga situation where their main guys, Adam Fanua-Blake, once he's off the field, it is a bit of a drop-off in quality. With Payne Haas, as good as he is, as you say, Terrell May is at that level. So you have that option there. I was very surprised that they only brought him in with a quarter of the game left, given that they were in free fall for basically the entire second half. But it wasn't just this game. I mean, even in the second game, he missed the first game. Second game, he only had 21 minutes. I mean, no disrespect to the likes of Francis Molo and Josh Papali'i, but when they're getting 40 minutes each and Terrell May is only getting 20, I really find that difficult to understand.
I don't understand because, maybe is the explanation he didn't click with the team, his style? I don't know, but at the same time, don't put him in the side then. Bring in another guy that does suit what they want to do. But if you're in the side and you've got Terrell May off the bench, you're giving him more minutes than 20 minutes, in my opinion. Timmy, I'd love to get your thoughts, mate.
Well, you bang on, and Madge has the blueprint for Payne Haas, without repeating sort of too much of what you already said, Campy, Payne Haas in the grand final played 53 minutes because that's all they needed him to. He didn't need to play the 80 minutes. He did the week before because they needed that to keep their season alive and make the grand final in the first place. So, he ran for 103 metres on the weekend. That was his lowest metres all season by a mile. And that said, it's all good and well playing him 80 and going, all right, we only need 1 more week for you, then you're about to go on holidays and get a break. But it clearly impacted him. Yeah. Because and the fact that he only ran for 103 metres and didn't have that many runs by his standard suggests that he knew he was going to play 80 going into the game because he goes, I need to preserve myself to get through this whole game. And it took away from them. Absolutely.
And I think also we have to remember, yes, Payne is great. Probably the greatest front row I've ever seen. He's still up against top tier opposition. Leota and Fish, they've won every battle they've been in together, including against Payne Haas forward pack. So they know how to tire or at least go toe to toe with Payne. And we haven't even mentioned Tarpany yet. So it's I just think that it was a bit naive from Samoa to go, our big dog, he'll take that Kiwi pack. It's he's a human being. That forward pack is Payne a little bit better? Yes, but he's not so much better that as a group they can't hunt him down and fatigue him. And I just think they did.
That's it, mate. You play 80 at club level. It's not that Payne can't do it at international level. We know he can. The step up is enormous. It doesn't matter who you're playing, whether it's a Penrith Panthers or a Melbourne Storm. Every one of these players is world class. So it's you don't get a break. You don't get softer tackles and softer runs and all that. It doesn't happen against the Kiwis.
Yeah. And when you've got guys like White, who is a Dally M, I think he's a Dally M level forward now. Got Clark, who did win the Dally M. Those two come on, the ruck speed gets quicker almost. Yeah. And so I just think they got... It was a naive coach choice instead of actually really realising what he was up against. He's up against... essentially all-time forward pack.
And on top of it, they had opportunities to rest him. Like, they led, was it 14-6 at half time? So you're going, cool, we've got a lead. Give him a spell.
Yeah.
Even if it's 10 minutes, just give him a break. It's not like they were down 14-6 at half time and it's shit, like we're chasing points, we need you on the whole time. Like, the opportunity was there to give him a break.
Yeah, well, so 10 minutes, 20 minutes, like, you'd absolutely... So basically, it's 2 tries to 1 after the first half, but the Kiwis didn't score their first try until 32 minutes. Mm-hmm. So, when you're up by 2 tries after 27 minutes, get him off the field. And also, what's crazy, you got Terrell May on the bench, bro. Yeah. Like, you don't have an average, battler coming out of first grade. You've got a guy that absolutely also can play 80 minutes or whatever. What do you reckon, Hammy?
Yeah, I thought he was, hugely underused. Terrell May had a fantastic season, nominated for a front row of the year at the Dally M's as well. And so when you go on toe-to-toe with a big forward pack with just no gaps in it, really, I think you've just got to probably use your resources a little bit more wisely there. Poor old Payne Haas, obviously, out there for 80. Going to be a pretty tough ask when he's got 3 or 4, 5 big dogs coming at him all day from the Kiwi side. So, yeah, time over again. I'm sure they probably would have looked to use Terrell May a little bit differently or get him involved a little bit earlier or maybe even start him, to try and just go toe-to-toe with the Kiwis for a little bit. Although, maybe...
I thought Molo was pretty good.
He was good. Yeah. He was good. And, it was close at halftime. In fact, Samoa led. So maybe at halftime, maybe you make the change, just go a bit of fresh legs, get him out there. But, at the end of the day, the point is he probably... They didn't get enough out of him, Terrell May, on the day. Because they didn't use him for long enough.
And what's bizarre is, like, if there is one player that matches Payne Haas's stats, it's freaking Terrell May. There's literally no other forward that essentially comes close to Haas's stats other than Terrell May.
Yeah, and look, in saying that he didn't get enough minutes, I mean no disrespect at all to Molo and Papali'i. Those are both guys that have played Origin. They've achieved more than Terrell May has. But the year is 2025 and Terrell May is killing it. He is so suited to the modern game, so suited to generating momentum, which is exactly what the Kiwis were able to do against Samoa. So to not put him out there, I truly don't understand. I can't think of a single reason why it played out the way it did.
Timmy, could you check me, what was Papali'i's average minutes this year? Like, surely...
Josh.
Surely Josh Papali'i, you put him on for 20 minutes because that's what you want. You say, mate, you're a veteran, you're getting on the back end of your career. Give me 20 minutes of the best.
Exactly. Yeah. If their minutes had been reversed, you got you got Terrell May with 41 minutes and Josh Papali'i with 23. That makes sense to me.
I don't understand. Like, what argument could you like? Obviously, a prime Papali'i, mate, give him as many minutes as he wants. But a Papali'i now, who is really his best work is a 20 to 30 minute stint, or I think even in Origin it was like a 15 to 20 minute max stint. Like, that's where he can do his best work. I don't understand what you could possibly gain by having him out there for 41 minutes.
I don't have the exact number, but just going through game by game, it's about the 40 to 45 mark.
Yeah, okay. So he does it at club, I guess. But even still, I'm just not... I just think Terrell May is the form, outside of Payne Haas, essentially the form front row of the competition.
And he plays 70 to 80 minutes.
Every single week. I think everyone's aware. Like, definitely not obviously having a crack at Papali'i or Molo. I actually think Molo's stocks have risen for me in how he went in this pack champs. I thought he was really good. Super aggressive, heaps of line speed. I thought he did his job really well. Now, I want to talk some positives. Junior Paulo, we've already spoken about him a little bit, but my God, how good was he? Friggin' unbelievable, like, just such good leadership. Now, I know he had, a couple missed tackles, but I thought Sasangi, bro, like, he is just a joke good at the moment. Like, his ability to go centre, edge back rower, even in the middle if you need him. That intercept, like, I know people, it was an intercept. Yeah, he still had to make the play. Like, that's a back rower doing that stuff. He was outstanding in my opinion.
Like, game on the line, huge moment. He shifted to centre, I think, because Tauralungi.
They were under the pump.
Yeah, under the pump. Like, I would argue that centre is the hardest position on the field for defensive reads, and you need to get it right. What they were throwing at him, they were just like relentlessly peppering the line, and to come up with not only that read, but to execute it where if he misses and they score on his outside or inside, whatever, he looks like an idiot. To execute it, catch it, run the field, playing out of position, that was enormous.
Like, to make that call out of position is actually insane. And on top of 5 minutes earlier, he'd literally had a match saver on Nikita.
Yeah.
He's very quickly becoming like... for where he is in his career and where he's come from in like the rapid rise in the last 2 years, probably 18 months, 12 months, whatever it's been, like a big game player. Like, big game,
true.
big moment. Like, he's getting up for big games, and whenever like the Raiders need to play or like Samoa have needed to play, he comes up with it.
Crazy. Genuinely crazy.
I made a note that I think if, say, round one this season, if he hadn't made the Raiders squad, there would have been a lot of fans who didn't think twice that much about that. He was definitely on some people's radar, for sure. But
Not many people would have spoke about it.
that's the thing, exactly. Now, he's easily one of the first pick for Canberra. He's playing 80 minutes in a Pacific Championships final and pulling off a play like that. At age 24, who says that this guy can't be one of the premier back rowers in the competition?
Yeah, or at the very least, one of the best. He's already form-wise one of the best bench players in the competition.
I'll tell you
Form-wise.
what else he does. And I speak about this all the time and the value of this type of player to a rugby league team, but just to have a starting forward that can shift to centre and you can confidently play them there,
Yep.
it just changes the entire dynamic of the team, especially the Raiders who run dual hookers. You can't really afford to run dual hookers and then have a utility sort of back on your bench with two forwards. You're leaving yourself light on, but having Sasangi capable of doing that, it is invaluable to a team.
Yeah, well, and 5'8", which he obviously played in the finals. We talk
he can
about,
do it all.
I mean, 14 is obviously a utility role. In recent years, 17 has become sort of its own thing. He's the ultimate 17, a back row who can play centre and 5'8". There you go.
Yeah.
And again, it's like he's not coming on and just doing his job. That's what we used to think was unbelievable. Oh, look, he just did his job out of position. He's killing it in the position he's not supposed to be in.
Well, yeah, and you add to that, like best position probably edge back row, but because of Hudson Young and Zach Hosking and Matty Nicholson, like he's playing through the middle a lot, and he was just as effective. Like so, it's edge back row, middle, can cover centre, can cover 5'8". The man.
Sorry, I just want to go back quickly to the Payne Haas. I just read in a stat here. You know, in the final series, he missed only 2 tackles, Payne Haas.
There's Joe.
That's crazy. But yeah, sorry, Sasangi fast becoming...
On Haas before it, you alluded to without deep diving into it.
Yep.
That try saver that he made on Dylan Brown was a joke. Like
Mental.
he was on the 10 metres in from the left touch line, was involved in a tackle, was at marker, sprinted across field, and then Brown went through and he made that tackle. And it wasn't even like lots of offloads and second phase play and blokes turning under. It got from one side to the other, I counted about 6 seconds, and he just sprinted across and made that tackle. I was like, and this was the bloke who played 80 minutes. This was at the back end of the game.
Mental. Absolutely mental. And he also wasn't his first try saver. He was the one that tackled Navahu White after he steamrolled RTS. Like, what is a front rower playing 80 minutes? Like, that should be a centre or a winger's job to come in chopping Navahu White. So, yeah, they just... I really think New Zealand lulled them into a Payne Haas trap. I really think they were like, keep him on for 80 minutes. That's what we want. We want him on there because we almost deep down know, like even in that grand final in 2023, he still killed it. He still absolutely killed it. But so deep down they know that if he gets a bit of a break and he's only on for 50 minutes, there really isn't a forward pack that can handle Payne Haas. Like it really is. However, he can play 80 minutes and there is a chance that he might still have that impact. However, the chances, the likelihood of you being able to handle him actually increase if he plays 80 minutes because he's obviously gassed a little bit, especially if you're a top tier forward pack like the Kiwis. Okay, I've got to speak about something negative. It hurts my weird little heart to speak about it, but just quickly, who stood out for you, Hammy?
For Samoa?
Yeah, or negative or positive?
Yeah, I mean, look, they were right in it until until half time. Obviously, they led at that point of the game. I thought in that first half, Bizza was pretty good. Again, been a long year for him. We probably said it for the last couple of times, games of the season. He probably needs a spell now, a well-earned rest. But, still cranked out 150 metres on the sting. I thought he was good. I thought Jerome Luai showed some pretty good intent, was up in people's faces in the first half as well.
They needed a big play too with the bomb towards the end there. The game was in the balance.
Yep.
Crazy catch.
Yep, correct. So, I think he's shown some good signs through the series as well. Just the big takeaway for me with this Samoa side is that he's going to get better. They're going to bring Critter back in. Oh. They're going to bring Hammer back, or Hammer will join the side. Yeah. Spencer Lenu is going to come in as well. Obviously, look, we'll see what happens with Payne Haas, but there's 3 big...
Tino, potentially.
Tino, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like there's guys still coming in that are going to make this team even better. They weren't terrible in this game.
Nah,
but they're going to be a handful, particularly both these teams really going to test Australia. Probably on current form, a little bit ahead of them at the moment.
I'll tell you what, imagine a forward pack of Payne Haas, Tino, and then Terrell May off the bench. Or you go Tino at 13, Payne Haas and Tino up front.
Yep. Spencer off the bench too.
That's nightmare fuel stuff.
I do want to say before we get into the Debbie Downer stuff that you've got lined up.
Shout my mum out when you say that, please.
Absolutely. Sorry.
Shout out, Debbie.
Apologies. I do want to give a shout out to the ground announcer who was there. He was the most one-eyed Samoan you could possibly imagine. At one point, he literally came on the loudspeaker while New Zealand were defending and told Ashley Klein to, quote, get him on side, mate. When have you ever heard a ground announcer yell, get him on side?
You know what else I did hear him? He was doing the, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. And I was like, is that normal? Is that normal? But look,
Never
it's a
heard
great
that
tune.
before.
It's a classic tune.
I was clapping my hands.
Yeah, there you go.
People
Happy man.
kick up the biggest stinks of all time when there's a biased commentator or ground announcer, whatever it is. It's awful if they don't acknowledge it, but like the Kiwi commentators of the past, they're the ones who like people always saw and they're so biased, but they acknowledge how biased they are. It's when you don't acknowledge it. But like this bloke who's clearly Samoan and going for him and rooting for him, it's like, I'm all for it. It's entertaining.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I love that the NRL had the foresight to know what the atmosphere of that game would be, that it would be Samoan, get a ground announcer that leans into that. That was well done.
Smart. I think just to your point as well, like I'm pretty sure in Origin, they tell Joey and Smithy to be biased.
Yeah.
And so like people that think that, oh, they're just so biased they can't control themselves. Like granted, I'm sure there are moments when that happens, but they are told like we want people to have the same feeling of rivalry in the commentary section, box as well. We don't want you to, for example, how much does it piss a New South Wales fan off when you hear Joey be really reasonable towards the Queenslanders? You're sitting there going, fuck, Joey, those dogs, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, it's...
Sport is passion and you want to hear
I'm with you.
People
as long as the ref
think.
isn't, I'm okay with it. We're going to speak about it, boys, before I get into my Debbie Downer. The Dean Mariner no try. Huge moment, like genuinely massive moment in the game. They go 3 tries up, I think. We're split on this. I thought it was a Barry Crocker from the video ref. So the word is... this is what the wording is in the rule book. A video referee can overcall a no-try call if there is sufficient evidence to prove the on-field official decision was incorrect. I just don't believe in what world wasn't that sufficient evidence that the ball touched a blade of grass. I think I think there's actually a picture where you can see the ball touching the blade of grass. I think the fact that the ball is not shaped like a square should give it away as well. Like, for example, people say, oh, his own forearm was under it. If that's the case, are you telling me that the footy didn't touch a blade of grass at some point? It's not shaped like a square. It's not a flat thing. I thought it was a shocker. However, we are split on the panel. Leaguie, thoughts, mate?
It was hard to tell from where I was, being at the ground, seeing it on a faraway screen. I think it probably was a try, but I can live with the decision of it not being overturned. As I say, I think maybe it should have been, but I'm not going to kick up a stink about it.
Yeah, I'm Team Leaguie on this one. I think it was a try, but...
What odds would you give it that was a try? What odds do you reckon you'd give it?
Well, like if I'm adjudicating, I call it a try.
Yeah.
So 100%. Like I think it touched. That being said, because it went up no try, the hand was under the ball, I'm okay with it. Again, if I was in the box, I would have overturned it. But I'm not upset about it.
Okay.
It was weird being his own hand under the ball rather than someone else's. Like
I genuinely think you can see it touching grass. Yeah. That's how crazy I
thought it touched grass too.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not as upset about it.
Yeah. Because listen, I thought the rule was like you have to have unequivocal evidence, but it says just sufficient evidence. Hammy, thoughts, mate?
No, I'm literally watching on loop here. No try. The ball doesn't hit the ground. He's got his hand under it. It's an awkward angle, but he does himself a mischief there. Doesn't get any part of it down from any of these angles. And the fact that it went up as no try, you got to basically be able to conclusively say that it was. And I don't think that evidence was there.
Well, none of us are returning for next week's episode after all disagreeing with Kempy.
No, it's good. It's good. I think that you can see it go down there. I'll just go back to KO. Shout out KO Sports. I think that they put up... And look, I'm pretty sure that... I'm pretty sure they had this angle as well. The what's it called? The bloody... Yeah, so if you go to KO, and these are the angles that we saw, I feel like you can literally see it on the ground. You can... there is white tri-line paint or whatever, grass that is literally sticking up past the ball closer to the image. I think there's absolutely sufficient. I think that most people, if you said you've got 50 grand and the right call, you've got $50,000, I'll even go less, you've got $1,000 and the right call, you get to keep it, the wrong call. I think everyone would say it was a try.
First 4 comments on Fox League's post of it. The ball didn't touch the ground, 100% held up. It's clear and obvious the ball does not contact the ground. The ball has to touch the line, not the ball carrier's hand. He saved his own try. Those are the top 4 comments.
Yeah.
And I will say this conversation would hold a lot more weight if it was a close game, but the second half was 30-0. So, yes, it would have been a different game.
It was in a big moment. They go up, they through tries, like that changes quite a lot.
That's true, but they did get the penalty goal immediately afterwards. So
fair.
it was still 3 scores.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say the internet has been wrong before. It has been wrong
There are
before.
people here saying it was a try too, but there's definitely far more being like, no, he's stitched himself up.
Yeah.
He saved his own try.
I think that most people, if you said you got $1,000, got to make the right call, did that ball touch a blade of grass? I think most people would say, yep. I really do.
Well, hopefully they won't come on from this comment section because...
But you only comment with the negative all the time. Like the negative, and also Samoa is a smaller... Anyway, there's so many different reasons why I can't... Anyway. But yeah, look, I will say I don't think it's like crazy to go, nah, I want to see 100% ball touching grass, otherwise it can't be overturned. I can understand that thought process. I personally just think that there's enough evidence to say that touched a blade of grass. Like, because that's all it has to be. A blade of grass. Like, fuck. Like, blades of... Yeah.
Blades of grass like this big.
Look, I just think...
I'm with you, Kev. I think it touched the blade.
If you've ever played footy and you've skidded across the line like that with the exact same thing, you know the ball. Anyway, it is what it is. Matty, what do you think? I know you'd have a mic. What do you reckon? Big rock?
Not been listening.
Really quick. The Mariner, was it a terrible shocker call or the right call?
Got caught up, no try, so no try.
Okay, boom. So I think it's 4-1.
Yeah, you said split panel. It's more...
Yeah, look, I didn't know you guys know nothing about rugby league. It's look, I'd love to know. Let me know in your thought in the comment section. Why do you believe either it's a try, but also, I guess, I'd love to know people's like, what is your threshold for sufficient? What's your threshold? Me personally, that met the threshold of sufficient, but clearly I mean, this is why rules are so. We got a lawyer here. They're all about bloody vague rules. But this is why it's so important to have very descriptive language, because sufficient is a vague term.
I mean, I won't get into it, but the main terrifying thing I've learned in a law degree is how subjective it all is.
Yeah.
It makes me scared for the entire system. But anyway.
Because sufficient doesn't, like, it means so many different things to so many different people.
The legal principle that's always drawn back on is what would the reasonable person think in a situation? Who the hell is the reasonable person?
Yeah, most of us are unreasonable, to be honest.
Yeah, and we all think that we're reasonable.
Yeah.
So it's just your own interpretation. But anyway. I hope my professors aren't listening. I'm just, crapping on their entire subject,
listen, professionals. You might learn something, mate. Okay, let's get into the game. The Debbie Downer. And as I said, I would love to know, whether you thought it was a try or no try, because these are always the most interesting to me, because two different people can watch the same thing and have such crazy different opinions. It's super, super interesting. The Debbie Downer moment. Kills me to say, because he had such an incredible year, and we've already been aware of this, and he's definitely going to be a superstar. There's no denying. But Blaise Talangi's defence, he's got to spend his whole off season in defence. Genuinely, I just think that it really is like, you look at that Penrith game against the Broncos, they targeted him. In New Zealand, they target him. The kid is so talented, and he's been thrown way in the deep end. Just the fact that he was essentially a fullback, played a bit of half growing up, goes to the Penrith Panthers, all that pressure, a 4-time premiership, starts the year pretty average, but then he's killing it by the end of the year. Just needs to work on that defence, because if he sorts that out, he can be whatever he wants to be.
And they targeted him hard. I mean, he was made to make 33 tackles. Jerome Luai on the other side of the field, only 8. Mm-hmm. So they sent so much traffic on him. But, at this top level, you have to be, ready and prepared to stand up to that. 6 missed tackles, 7 ineffective tackles. It's not good enough. Yeah,
the Pacific Champs taught me nothing new about Blaise Talangi. He can't defend. He couldn't come into it. He's a future possible superstar. He's definitely a future star. Ball in hand, incredible.
Calm under pressure. Those kicks from the sideline, wow.
Brilliant on his feet.
Yep.
He can't tackle. And it writes the opposition's game plan every week. Just send the back row at him all game. Bring centres underneath, get him one-on-one. Like, we will have success.
Yeah.
And, when you get to big games like semi-finals and grand finals, you can't afford to have the question mark around a player in your team defensively. I hope he'll get there, and I think he will, but it's...
if there's one system I'm backing, two, it's the Storm and Penrith. And he's got so much talent. Like, the thing is that it's not like he's weak in contact or anything. Like, I'd get it if he was like a smaller fullback or whatever, that almost like a bit of a drinky to me. Like, he's so much smaller that he doesn't really look for contact. But he's actually, he's not a big boy, but he's actually relatively tall in a decent frame and strong in contact. And ironically, Drinky has a lot of tackle breaks, funnily enough, but it's more from his footwork and his speed. So that's what's, I guess, surprising to me is like, when he's concentrating locked in, he makes some big hits.
Yeah, he can whack, yeah.
So it's like, just got to work on, I think sometimes, it's reads as well. Like, there was one, I think it was the Dylan Brown one, where he clearly needed to jam in with his 4 defender. Like, it was super obvious he needed to go in. And he just, he either switched off or he took the easy option. He's just like, nah, I'm just going to stay on my man. Hammy, thoughts on the Blaze Lundy?
Yeah, definitely was a bit of a spot that they went after, the Kiwis, and you touched on as well was the Broncos that did it at the point in the season as well. But 20 years old, in the hot seat.
So young.
You know, plenty of time to work on it to fill out a little bit. He's a few years away from being the finished product, but very special talent with ball in hand. And as you said, dealing with pressure, some goal kicking and stuff was pretty important or pretty impressive through this series as well. So, it's just the one area of game he needs to round out. But it's probably one of those ones, and you'll know this as well, Kempy, from your time playing, but like with just kind of like attitude, commitment, putting a bit of size on and stuff, it's probably one of those things that you can improve.
Well, we were actually looking at my stats in a finals game last week. Matty, do you remember the stats we were looking at on Friday? Could you just let the people know, big game against the Roosters, what were my defensive stats against the Roosters in I think it was...
One from one?
No, I was in let the boys know.
Oh, yeah.
5 tackles, 0 misses, 100% tackle efficiency. Just quietly. Just quietly.
Jeez, that's like
so I don't know about bad defense. I don't know what it's like to not be able to be the best defender in the competition.
If the Panthers want Kempy to go down there and spend a bit of time with players, reach out.
Speak to me.
It's similar to my stats from the Sport Shed charity match earlier this year. 0 runs, 0 run meters, 0 tackles made. They did not come my way at all. So
100% tackle efficiency.
They were. Well, I was playing next to Mitchell Pearce. Probably more scared of him, but
got a bit of Francis Melly about you, hey?
Well, Guru didn't put me on until the second half, so I didn't have anything.
Wow, Guru made him bench ride.
I didn't think he knew who I was at the time. Now look,
he's arrogant.
Or are you, Ru?
He always walks around saying, "I'm Guru."
Yeah. Anyway. I heard him say that. I heard him say that.
I'm Guru.
We wanted a team talk, and he was like, "I'm Guru." So maybe that's why we lost. Just
Nathan Guru Durkin.
Could have been.
It's me. Hey guys, I'm Guru.
He's never having me on
I
his
miss you,
podcast.
bro. I miss the Roo. I miss the big fella beside me. Just pulling your leg, brother. Enjoy the break. So I think we'll sort it out. It does make me question, like some people say, oh no, he played halves growing up a lot, but then I hear some people like, no, he's fullback. So it does make me think when I see that, it looks like he's played a lot more.
Worst
fullback.
case scenario, he doesn't sort his defence out. You flip him back to fullback. He plays there.
He'll kill it.
Yeah,
bro.
He'll kill it. Obviously, the Penrith scenario with Dylan Edwards, it's not going to happen overnight and things need to happen. But worst case scenario, he goes back to fullback. He kills it there.
And look, the good thing for him as well is we've seen how much he can improve. We saw it. We literally saw it this year. So it's not like there's no evidence that this guy responds to stimulus. He responds to stimulus quite well. So he will continue to improve. I definitely do think so. But it's going to be hard for him because now the game plan really is, let's see if this guy's locked in. Which sucks. That's a tough place to be in. Trust me, I've been there. Fucking sucks. Outside of that, guys, look, it's hard to be too harsh on a lot of the players. Like there were more errors than there should have been. I think that when the game got ruthless and clinical, they probably fell back into some old habits of like, oh, let's just get into the physicality of it. And we really enjoy the contact, so let's just get engaged in that rather than going, okay, let's pull it back a bit. League's about to die.
Hang in there, League.
I don't know.
Are you okay? Am I going to make you cry?
He fits in well with his panel.
Pat Champs fever.
I think that when the game needed to be clinical and just go, okay, guys, let's calm it down and let's just get our sets through so that we can just find a moment to get momentum back. I think they struggled until it was too late. And then once they realised and kicked in and go, guys, we just need to pull our sets together and just complete, the game was pretty much already gone.
Yeah, no, I agree. And in terms of other performers, I mean, we've spoken a lot about Benai Iwelu over the last couple of weeks, and he picked a lot of right options. I think yesterday, when we talk about the momentum sets that Samoa had, he was constantly picking the right runs, the right passes. Talking about, I mean, obviously now Cherry Evans confirmed to the Roosters, either him or Savala's going to miss out on that 17.
Crazy.
You look at, say, a team like Manly out there, who there's questions around Lachlan Croker, potential medical retirement. They could use a Benai Iwelu so much. He is signed until 2028 at the Roosters, but I fear his path might be blocked. But he'd thrive, I reckon, in like a proper first grade.
100%. He's a bloody good young player. Okay, that is New Zealand versus Samoa, done and dusted. Alrighty, it's time for Australia. Sweep England, 3-0. Well, we don't spend that much time on this, guys, because, like, really, you know, there's not that much to talk about. I think, to be honest, the biggest things to talk about is really, like, going forward, some questions in the clunkiness in the Australian side. I will be honest, I thought the 30-8 scoreline didn't really reflect how well, well's a strong word, but how much better-ish England played. I know the second game was closer, but there were moments here. Look, 3-0 is good, 3-0 is expected. Ironically, it still has a lot of questions around this Australian side. Like, their best completion rate, and look, I know completion rate isn't everything. Their best completion rate over 3 games. Listen, I'd copy even 2 games with this kind of thing, but every single game was 69%. So 69%, I think it was 65 and then 63. Like, if that doesn't tell you these boys, like, look, I'm sure they were, put it this way, they were as locked in as they needed to be honest. I don't think, if we were playing New Zealand 3 times, I don't think that's like that. And I just think it's a case of, unfortunately right now, the England just are in such a bad place in regards to they just don't have the stars coming through in key positions as they usually do. I will say, though, I want to send a big shout out to the English Rugby League fans, though, because boy, they turned out. Like, the numbers to these games was freaking huge. When you consider how small the sport is in the nation, for the numbers it turned out, it did. So, like, it shows you that although, yes, England right now on paper and playing wise aren't going great, there is potential there. Like, to get, 40, 50,000 the first game, 40,000, and then what was it like? Was it 20 to 30,000 last game?
They packed out Headingley, but Wembley was 60K.
Bloody, there you go.
That's in London. They're all up north.
Yep.
These are not wealthy areas, but travelled down to London, saw their boys playing.
Like, there's a 60K over in England. So it's like, yes, we can be concerned about the standard of rugby league and all that stuff. But in regards to the fans, like, my God, they turned out. We don't even get 60 to, like, an Australian game at home, really, when you think about it. Like, could we get 60,000? And I know it's different because we're travelling over there, blah, blah. I get all that. However, we're supposed to be the home nation of the NRL or whatever. We don't get 60K to an Australian game in Australia. What do you reckon we would get at a big Australian game? 40, 50K?
Yeah.
Maybe?
I mean, really, I think it depends who we're playing against.
Yeah.
If it's an island nation, we'll get 40K.
Yeah. Because it's an island nation.
We'll be Samoans. So.
Australia versus New Zealand, what do you reckon? 40K?
Depends where it's played. Like, they'd pack out Suncorp, which is 40-odd.
About 40K.
If it was played... Like,
I don't think we're getting 60K, that's what I'm saying.
No.
I don't think we're getting 60K Australia, New Zealand.
No, there's a reason why they've locked in the World Cup final to Suncorp and not Accor.
Yeah, that's because I just keep thinking of Core, and I'm like, I can't imagine 60K people going there.
Yeah.
You reckon different? Reckon we could?
I think if it was a final between Australia and New Zealand out at a Core on a Sunday half or whatever, yeah, I think they would. Don't say it confidently.
Yeah, fair.
So, yeah.
So I just want to give the people a massive rap. Like, that's incredible. That absolutely is incredible. It shows you that, yes, the base isn't huge numbers-wise, but passion, it's huge. So I want to give it a shout.
The Liverpool game, the game 2, Kempy, and the atmosphere was outstanding. Like,
yep.
Just same thing, just the English culture around sport, the seeing, the chanting, the passion, and it was such an incredible experience to be able to go over there and go to a game. And I know, like, particularly after game 2, there are a lot of people out there, including Pommy, saying, you know, how ordinary England were and da-da. They turned up, and they turned up for game 3 as well. Like, the game 2, they conceded 2 tries against this unbelievable Australian outfit. One was off a kick, and the other one was a bit of Munster magic. But, like, defensively, they were outstanding. Had a massive crack.
I thought their forward pack won the battle of game 2.
Yeah, they were just... And again, leading into game 3 as well, there's just a clear class gap between these two sides. Like, substantial class gap, but they put in.
Yeah,
that's not good enough.
Yeah, especially game 2. I thought game 1 they were really disappointing, England. Game 2, I thought that their forward pack essentially did what they needed to do, which was win field position, win time in possession, win the meterage and everything, but they don't have the class and the spine.
And you add in, like what we've seen with certainly the Pacific nation sides and the New Zealanders for decades is that in one-off tests, I know this is a 3-test series, but in one-off tests, they always get smoked by Australia. But when they're able to put these combinations together and build into series, by the end of it comes semi and final time, they'll beat Australia often enough. And England got better, I think, as the series went on. Even game 3, I know they scored 1 try and to George Williams there, but I thought their attack looked like they were decent through the middle. They got a bit of momentum. They were playing flatter. They were playing faster. Again, smaller fields, Australia's defence, you're just not going to break us, really.
Yep.
But I thought they improved as the series went on.
Now, there's been some people that have messaged, and I always like respectful disagreements with messages that have kind of been like, oh, come on, mate, like the games weren't that bad. You were there. Was it as bad as it feels like it's been in regards to the quality, in like the enjoyment, the excitement of the game?
Game 2 was a bludger of a rugby league game.
Yeah.
Being at the game with the atmosphere in the crowd, and that was an incredible experience. But the game itself was a bludger.
Yeah. And so that's what, like, I'm getting some people, oh, no, come on, mate, it wasn't that bad. I'm like, honestly, like, all 3 games were bludgers. Like, they weren't great. And I'm not, like, you can only play what's in front of you from both sides. Like, England can only play as good as they can play with the standard they've got. But there was maybe it's the small fields, but geez, they weren't exciting.
But like the small fields play a role because you've got naturally less room to attack, etc. And I know you could argue that the Vegas games on the small field there, they said, oh, well, there's points there. They were officiated differently. Like they were very free-flowing and they knew that they were trying to sell that to the States. There needed to be points. So there were lots of 6-agains blown and, the whistle was left in the pocket, whereas this was, adjudicated like a more traditional rugby league game.
Yep.
And there were penalties.
Oh,
and all
sorry, just while we talk about refs, and look, I know he might have got something wrong here or there. I want to give Ashley Klein credit, and this is a guy that's been critical of Ashley Klein before, for one of the greatest calls I think I've ever seen on the run. So it was yesterday, and Dean Mariner was kick returning, steps, essentially breaks the line, like half break, and looks like he's dropped the ball. And so he gets up, yelling angrily like, nah, strip, goes to his captain, strip. And Ash Klein runs, like essentially says to him, mate, you get the penalty. Anyway, in real time, as he got like bounced off one guy, led another guy, Ashley Klein had seen that Papali'i did strip it and gave the penalty to Samoa. And so we always, I'm not, on this show we're not super critical of refs. We try to be respectful because we know how hard it is for them, and we also know they're not intentionally doing it. We also know that, guys, the more negative we are on the refs, the less quality ones we're going to get coming through. It's going to hurt ourselves by being super negative. So I just wanted to take a chance. We always talk about Reece Walsh's incredible cutout ball or whatever. I cannot believe how good this call was from Grant Atkins on the run. To know Papali'i stripped it one-on-one and then knocked it forward. It was like even Dean Mariner was complaining to his captain, asking for a captain's challenge. He didn't even know that it was a one-on-one still that went forward. Like, he thought it was like just crazy call. So I want to give Atkins, and as I said, I have been critical of Atkins in the past. I think there was some crazy amount of penalties heading into, he didn't get the grand final role, I think, because he did a lot of penalties in one of the games. So I want to give him credit for that call because it's a friggin' unbelievable ref call. You know what? Maybe we should make a segment. Unbelievable ref call of the week. And just to give him a bit of... Because, like...
Bit of love.
The thing is this, and I've said this a million times, being a good ref is like a paradox. The better you are, the less noticed you are. The worse you are, the more noticed you are. And so, like, I think maybe we should shine a bit of light on the good calls that they do. Like you know what I mean? Like, how often does a call happen and you go, holy shit, I can't believe you've seen that.
The only genuine blow-ups on refs on this podcast are when there are too many whistles blown in Origin and you ruin our masterpiece. Outside of that,
usually pretty good. Or
just
like a howler
Origin.
in the video ref.
Yeah.
I'm actually really forgiving in play. Like, even if they get it completely wrong in play, I'm like, it's in play, bro. Like, you know how quick that shit is? You've got 10 slow-mo replays to make the right call with 17 different angles. He's on the field with just one angle like that. And so, maybe we will. Next year is a segment, good play by a referee, because they do make them. They make them all the time.
I mean, I've been a match official, technically in international games over in the Netherlands. Yeah. It is literally an impossible job to be a referee. You are asked to look in multiple places at once. And if something happens in a place where you're not looking, the accountability is insane. I think personally, touch judges should face more responsibility. I was a touch judge over there. They should help the referees more, but geez, doing what they do, like
at the speed at which it does, and also people trying to be sneaky too.
I did my first international game when I was 13. This is men's level, and the people there were saying, "Oh, if you fully commit to this, you could actually make a career out of refereeing." I'm like, no chance, no way am I doing that with the backlash that they face socially.
Yeah.
But I always make the point that you just made, where the more negativity, the more that fosters kids like me who might have, a potential of being a good referee, but we won't do it because we don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're basically weeding. You're making the pool of potential refs smaller, therefore increasing the likelihood or decreasing the likelihood, of good refs coming through. But yeah, sorry, I had to bring that up. But yeah, back to Australia, England. What were we even? The referee. Oh, yeah, it's slower. It's a bit slower over there, the game and everything.
Poms had a crack.
Yeah, they did. They did. In the first game, I questioned the amount of crack.
Yeah.
A lot of crack in the second game.
Poms had a crack games 2 and 3.
Yep.
Huge class gap. Couple of bludgers.
Yeah. Okay, in regards to just the spine with Australia, I feel like Cleary's in a bit of a... He's in a weird spot, isn't he? Because there is this whole... I just want to remind people the reason why this rep question had come up. It was not because he hadn't played good at rep. It was because we were talking about him like he was the greatest ever, and the argument was we need to see him dominate Origin. Now, granted, I do think because he has lost quite a few deciders now, there is a question of okay, does Moses get that spot? Me personally, I think the 7 jersey is an open slather next year for anyone to get, whether it's Moses Cleary. But I've been thinking about it so deeply because I'm like, how is this man so unbelievable at club every single week, but then he gets to international footy or club footy, and he has good moments for sure. And I don't buy the he played bad narrative. I just think it's nonsense. But he doesn't play on the level that we know he can. And I think I may have figured out. I think it is the fact that Nathan Cleary has built his career on fatigue rugby league, and you don't really see that in slow matches. The fatigue is not being built in. And also in Origin, they're not getting fatigued. They're the best of the best. On top of that, look how much Cam Munster has shown in rep footy because he's just pure rogue footy. He is just pure mayhem, chaos footy. And it doesn't matter the pace of the game. He won man of the series in the slowest footy you've ever seen because he is purely just about beating his man one-on-one with deception. And I just wonder whether there's something about that, two things, either... Cleary, I personally believe he's, 26 now? 27? I think that he will learn to play a different style of rugby league. And I think that he'll learn to back himself more as a chaos style player. Because I think he's 28. So I think he's still got enough years to learn that. But I think that's probably the one thing that's blocking him in international footy, to taking the step that I think we all probably know he will, or at the very least hope him to take, because we all like Cleary. I'd be surprised why anyone wouldn't like Cleary. I think I'm such a fan of him. But I reckon that might be it. I'd love to get your thoughts on that, boys. Is it because he's built his career off pressure-based footy?
I like the thought, certainly, and it's definitely annoyed me over the years that we've got this guy who I believe is a generational talent, particularly in an Origin arena, who... He's been very, I think it's been good, but the fact is that the wins haven't been delivered.
Yep. And he's had good individual games in Origin. He's won man of the match multiple times, I think 2 or 3 times.
But I don't really have a counter argument because I've thought about it a lot and not come to a tangible reason as to why it would be the case. So I'm happy to subscribe to it.
Yeah, he's one of those... He thrives in structure because he's so meticulous in what he does and his preparation and the 1%ers. It's as good as they come. It's like those Cooper Cronk areas. But as you said, it's those in the slower games when the defences are a bit tighter. Can he break a game open? And sure, we saw it as the pressure ramped up in the grand final a few years ago, and he's had these moments. But
I will say, just with that grand final, was that more fatigue though from what they did to him in the first half?
Yeah. So you might be right around the fatigue, but he said his ability to break a game open when there's nothing happening, it's not necessarily been there in the past. But when they're rolling and things are going well, he's
the best in the business. Probably the best ever.
Yeah. In terms of this series against England and the Ashes, everything was... The whole attack was centred around Reece Walsh. And Nathan Cleary was not the main man. And he's always been the main man, certainly at club level. And, when they get into the red zone and they're attacking, he dominates. He throws the last pass. He gets the ball when he wants. This was all about Reece Walsh. I don't think he had a very good series by his standards at all, and I think he'd be the first to say it's I got him around the park, had some decent runs, but we want to see Nathan Cleary dominate a pretty ordinary English team. He did not, and even in Game 3 the other day, he was pretty poor. Passes hit the deck. He looked a little lost. And they said Munster thrived in, being able to break a game open in different sorts of ways. That's what he does when there's a structured D. Then he goes, I'll find a way. But everything was focused around Reece Walsh. And I think this took a lot out of Nathan Cleary having to essentially take a back seat in attack to Reece Walsh.
Yeah.
I don't think they got that balance right. I get
they
why
definitely
did
didn't get it right. No.
I see why they did it, and Kevy Walsh is a coach, and whether it's his fault or whatever, and what Reece Walsh has done. And look, Reece Walsh carved up, probably didn't execute a few situations that were created at times, and that's fine. But you've got the best halfback in the world, and he just took a back seat in attack.
Yeah, I just think. See, I have had moments where it almost felt like Munster's team more than Walsh's team. If I'm being honest, I actually felt it when, first game was obviously the Walsh show, but game 2 and 3, it really did feel like Munster was the main man and he did what he wanted. Granted, I know it's very easy outside, I'm not saying you're saying this, but fans to go, come on boys, just like you're in the Australian side, tell each other what to do on that. But you got to remember the seniority of Munster. He's the OG to these boys. So for them to walk in and be like, "Oi, get me the ball when I want it," it's very rarely going to happen. But then I asked myself, what would Moses have done in that 7 jersey? I don't know. Would have he clicked better? Would have he done more?
Yeah, he might have played a more freewheeling style, a bit more of a...
Yeah, that suits the kind of rogue nature of... And so I just think there is this question of, if it's Cleary's team, it's got to be his team fully, maybe.
I think that comes back to game plan and structure. If Moses was in there, the game plan wouldn't have changed. It would have been... let's do everything around Reece Walsh and getting Reece Walsh in position. So I think Moses probably has a pretty similar series. I could be wrong, but that's how I would have seen it.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards that, but I just think it's a question worth exploring because it is just so I already doesn't matter what happens from now on, and he could retire tomorrow. I already consider Nathan Cleary as one of the greatest sevens to ever play the game.
Put it this way, if Reece Walsh, and he did, so it's irrelevant, but if Reece Walsh and the Broncos didn't have that last 6 to 8 weeks and Reece Walsh setting the world alight and, he got in there and maybe it was because Teddy pulled out and Dill Edwards, had a down series, whatever, I think it's a different story because off the back of what he did, all the eggs were thrown in the Reece Walsh basket in attack, in my opinion.
Okay.
And I think if the back end of the season, that final series in particular, didn't occur, I think it would have been a different... Because they would have had Reece Walsh, you're coming in as the rookie, this is Nathan Cleary's team, he's still the main man in attack. I think that changed the way the game plan was structured by Kevy Walters.
What about the argument that he's 28 now and he hasn't... I know he came in late-ish to the Australian side, but he hasn't really set it alight for the Australian side yet. And also in rep footy, that when you're talking about greatness at least, he... as a New South Wales fans, you can speak to it. He just hasn't seemed to click as much as a Moses.
Yeah, I'm not defending Nathan Cleary in the way he played in this series. I think he was disappointing. Which
is because I think that overall, if I average out his performance, I would just say okay. Would you say okay, or would you say less
ordinary?
Than ordinary? Okay, so less than.
Mate, this is again we're talking about a bloke trying to stake his claim, or at least the public are, as potentially the best halfback of all time with his titles.
Okay,
to go there against an ordinary England outfit. He did next to nothing. I think game 2 when I was there, he hit a 40-20. It was about the only time I saw him do anything. He had his moments, but he should be dominating a series like this. And I'm saying that the game plan was around Reece Walsh and he was the man in attack. Maybe Cleary has to step up and say, no, I need...
So that's going to be my next question. Does Cleary, is he too nice?
Possibly.
So in Clubland, he can... everything's built around him, rightly so. And what he's achieved, I want to be really clear too, guys. There is not a bigger fan than Cleary. You know how much time I've glazed that bloke when everyone's pizzling me? I couldn't be a bigger fan. What he's achieved, he's already one of the greatest sevens of all time. I don't care what anyone says. But I just wonder, what made Joey so great? It's obviously everything he did, but it was the cunt in him that made him great. It was the ability to go, oi, fucking, this is my... What is Moses... And I still have Cleary, light years ahead of Moses as a 7. However, in rep footy... Moses does have cunt in him, and he will tell someone to go and get
And
one.
you're probably right, mate, and that's where it's that, and it's also ego. And it's I think Nath has the competitive drive
for sure,
as
absolutely.
Any of the best to win at all costs.
Equal to any. It's just the spiteful side of it.
Yes, the arrogance, and in that, put it this way, Joey playing in this team, there's a star fullback, might have been Lockie in the early 2000s, that comes in. Joey doesn't take a back seat.
No. Honestly, he almost might have a punch on with Munster. If Joey and Munster are in the same side,
I'm the main man. So whereas to your point, I think you saw it on the field. Cleary's like, okay, like, all right, the coach wants to structure the attack around Reece Walsh. I'm willing to do that. And he's such a good team player, credit to him, but we're trying to make a case for like one of the best of all time.
Go.
Do you think maybe that's why potentially every Cleary needs is Luai? Luai being the competitive guy who will be really in your face, just absolutely giving it to the opposition.
What's so strange about that, though, is like Munster is like Luai to a degree in the play style.
Yeah.
Not as in your face as Luai
That's the
was.
thing, yeah.
I know he's chilled a bit. It's such a fascinating thing with Cleary because I'm such a fan. I think he's so great. I think everything he's achieved is just like freaking mind-blowing, like genuinely mind-blowing. But I just wonder if he could just somehow get that little bit of extra spite to go, okay, Walshy, you just had a great final series. That's good. Hey, Cam Munster, you've been good. Nowhere near as good as I have at Clubland. Like, not nowhere near, so take that back. But definitely not on 4 in a row good. I'm the big dog here.
Yeah.
Because, like, really, he is the big dog there.
He absolutely is. And I think you're sort of probably on the money in saying that. And let's, like, again, another hypothetical, but if Dylan Edwards was the fullback, or even to a less degree, like maybe James Tedesco or someone, and the Walsh mania isn't there, I think Cleary has a significantly better series because you go, no, I'm the main man. But I think Walsh mania, and this isn't a knock on Reece Walsh. This isn't even a knock as such on Kevy Walters. They won the series, whatever. But he played second fiddle in attack to Reece Walsh. Not a knock on Walsh.
It's such a weird. I don't know what I genuinely. It's one of the rare circumstances. I don't know what the answer is. And I know people on the internet will go, "Well, the answer is pretty obvious. You put Mitchell Moses in." It's not that obvious, bro. Like it really isn't. Yeah. Like it's not. It's a tough question that the best minds in rugby league. Like, do you think when, like, for example, do you think when a New South Wales coach is sitting there about to select his team, do you think he's sitting there going, "Oh, I just like Cleary, so I'm putting him in there"? His job is on the line, bro. He's trying to pick who he thinks the best player is. And so that's why, like, it's not a clear answer. And that's coming from a guy who truly believes that 7 jersey is anyone's next year. Now, and what I will say is what I do strongly disagree with, there are some people out there that already say he has the 7 jersey for New South Wales. I disagree with that. I think it needs to be a reset button in the whole system needs to be reset. And so I understand the fans' frustration when they see analysts do that because they're like, what? Like, he's got that jersey just locked no matter what. But they are the best minds in rugby league. So they're seeing something when he plays club footy and that. Yeah, it's bizarre.
See, we've spoken about the 1, 6, and 7 for Australia. You've then got where the ball starts at hooker, Harry Grant, who he should have the license to, when he sees something, do whatever he wants to do. So you're just balancing all these factors. Contrast that with Clubland, where Mitch Kenny is literally just getting through his work and getting high quality ball.
Rayleigh would have suited Cleary better.
Yep, I agree with that.
And I actually said that on the potty as well. I would have had Moses in there, but I was like, the spine makeup on paper right now for Australia, if they ever clicked, it would literally be unstoppable. But the chances of this current spine clicking, it's almost impossible.
Especially in a 3-game series.
Yeah. It reminded me of Rooster spines of years gone by where we had Brandon Smith at hooker, Sam Walker, Luke Keary in the halves, and Tedesco at fullback. They all wanted the ball all the time.
And then Joey Manu at centre.
Exactly, yes. Who everyone said we need to get all the ball to him. So you got to balance that. And that takes a really good coach to do. Trent Robinson couldn't do it.
Well, that's what I respect so much about Madge. When he took over New South Wales, he did that. He said, I'm picking the team that suits what I need and what I want. When he played the Broncos this year, he picked the players that suit his game plan, not the best 17 players. Anyway, just as I said, it's a really enthralling conversation, in my opinion. I don't know what the right answer is, but I think this is the next stage of Cleary's career, though, is he's turning 28 now. It'll be that stage of, like, I'm the big dog. And I know he's already been through this earlier in his career, but just in the rep footy, he'll have his big dog moment. I believe he will. And if he doesn't, obviously I'll get up here and I'll say I was wrong, but I believe he will. Nothing really else to talk about in the Australian side. Look, obviously there's other stuff to talk about, guys, but we got to get out of here. Harry Grant was phenomenal. He was really good on the weekend, which is good because he was a bit quiet in one of the other games. But anyway, that's us done and dusted, guys. Make sure to give Leaguie a follow, SC Playbook a follow, all that good stuff. Thank you, Leaguie, again for coming on the show. Good to see Timmy back here.
Can I do
Face the Music? Let's do
a
it.
plug for Face the Music?
Yep.
There'll be just a bit of homework involved because I think what we'll do next week is get series prediction, top wicket taker, top runs, but we're going to need to see who's coming into the team. But we can just set the agenda and give some prices ahead of that as well.
Okay, so do you want to do face the music now, or do you want to?
Yep. I'll
okay.
just kind of say what the odds are and stuff for this.
Okay, cool.
That's
So
all
we're
good.
not doing any picks.
Nah.
Okay.
I wanted to pick England again. I did.
Get
I
out.
didn't. That's a
Seriously,
joke.
this guy's basically a pommy. You're basically honestly, you're a pommy.
Don't say that because that irritates me. I've punched most of the mouth for saying that.
Holy shit!
I worked on that one all week.
Oh my!
I had that.
You reminded me. You know that guy's like, you want some?
You want some? I'll give it
The
you.
Weldstone Raider.
Yeah.
You want some? What's he doing these days? He's still alive?
Yeah, he's still kicking.
What a legend!
See, he released a song.
Really?
He had it was a Christmas single that he released. It was so good.
Christmas single. You want some prezzies? Okay, face the music. Massive thank you as always to Sportsbet. What's some odds this week, mate?
Yep. All right. So the Ashes is obviously coming up. We've got a Shield round in action at the moment as well. Right now, New South Wales up against Victoria. Victoria batting 2 for 106. Tassie 4 for 110 against South Australia in a spot of bother, but our man Slug Webster, who might miss out.
No, you need a slug in your side, mate. You always do. I
always
said that.
4 not out at the moment, the Slug, so keep it up, mate. But the odds for the series betting, Australia $1.55 favourites, England $3.25, the draw $9.50. Bearing in mind England haven't won not only a series but a single test in Australia since 2011.
Honestly, let's be fair, Dinkum, what has England even won in the last decade?
Great question.
Like in any sport?
Great
Moral
question
victories.
because huge asterisk around winning a one-day World Cup, which they tied and then went to boundary countback. So really, when you boil it down, they haven't really won anything.
Did you say England are 325 to win the series?
Yeah,
How?
shocker.
How
It's
are
a
they
shocker.
how are they that short?
I don't know. Australia 5-0, $6.50. That's certainly where I'll be looking to play. Maybe rain might save them for one game.
What would
Maybe
you say Australia are?
$1.55.
Load responsibly, obviously.
Yeah. Rain might save them maybe up at the Gabba. $8, 4-0 Australia, but we'll smash them.
If there are any pommies in the comment section, can you let me know what important sporting event you've won in the last decade? Please.
And bearing in mind, World Club Challenge doesn't count.
Yeah, it's called World Club Challenge for a reason. It's a club that's doing it.
Yeah.
You know? So there could be Australians playing in it. We're talking about England as a nation winning anything.
Yep. Really good point. Really well made. But next week, I want to get a leading run scorer for the series, leading wicket taker for the series. Maybe just for the hell of it, we might even do top England wicket taker, top England run scorer. Not that there'll be many English runs or wickets to be had, you wouldn't have thought. But
are we falling into the trap of arrogant Australians now? Are they that bad?
What trap? They haven't won a game here in 15 years.
Joe Root's never won a test in Australia.
Never made a ton in
Never
Australia.
made a ton. I think he's ever won a test. And he's apparently the greatest sporting athlete of all time, according to the English.
Yeah.
And you're giving him 325. What are you doing? Is the
Michael
question.
Vaughan said I think it was Michael Vaughan, if he scores a century in Australia, he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Don Bradman says hello, but anyway.
I don't even think Bradman would say hello to that. I think he'd spit on the ground and walk away.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Walk right on by. But anyway, you've got homework is my point. Absorb the Sheffield Shield, Kempy. I know you'll do that anyway over the next couple of days. Cam Green bowling, that'll be an interesting
Huge
one.
Cam Green fan, young all-rounder, a lot of potential, but he did dip recently. So hopefully we can get him back in good shape to get him back to the potential we thought he was going to be.
That's where Kempy and I butt heads on that because I'm more of a Slug fan. But it'd be interesting to see if
Yeah, Slug's a bit older though, mate. Slug's a little bit older, and Cam Green, a lot of potential. I know he's the golden child, but he was the golden child for a reason, mate.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like a fine wine, though, Slug. So
Listen,
I appreciate a good wine.
I'm partial to a Slug. Trust me.
Yep. Goodness me.
But Cam Green, listen, he's the future, mate, and you don't want to lose him to the game. If you know what I'm saying.
No, that's a good point.
You hurt his confidence. He'll be stuck in Sheffield Shield for the rest of his life.
Yeah, well, he'll come good eventually. But anyway, all that and more. Head to the feed in the meantime. But
I don't even know what I said just then, to be honest. It all just came through me from the cricket and gods.
Yeah, and he's Mr. Cricket. Remember that, people. His form last year was very good. We'll make sure we whack a couple of multis up as well. Last year, some of yours went quite well, Kempy, for the punters. Probably 2 or 3.
I've seen them like pumpkins.
You were. You really were. So anyway, we'll report back next week with our picks for the series and for the first test as well.
That's Face the Music for the week. We've got a big Face the Music next week with some big picks, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And a massive thank you as always to Sportsbet. Give us a follow on the feed. Got some bets there this week. And I think we'll go fuck ourselves. I'm pretty sure. I think we're all going to go fuck ourselves. Okay, thank you.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.